Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. My name is Eric.
Trevor Buzak here.
My God, I want to do the Christian's cursor is moving on the notes. That's it. Revoked. Editing privileges revoked.
I still need to see what I'm doing.
You'll be able to see. You just won't be able to
Even in future episodes when I know you're recording, I'm just going to log in. Even if I'm not there.
We don't share any notes with you unless you're on the episode, though. We'll make a note of that.
Just give me a quick second while I change his permissions.
I'm just following along.
What a great way to start an episode.
Yeah, I don't know if this was the official start or if this is like gonna get edited out, but I guess.
There we go.
Here we go.
It's gone.
There we go. I just made this
can't-
the official start.
He can't change it.
That's disgusting.
Anybody now?
I muted you.
Eric's gone mad with power.
A little bit of power goes to his head.
That was gross. Made me want to kill myself.
Welcome to my world. Every day, Eric.
Is that what
Every day.
Is that our friendship?
Well, it's my day to day is I want to kill myself. So take that how you will.
School, right?
Might be our. Oh, right. Yeah, no, it's nothing to do with you.
All right, let's talk about Warhammer.
Oh, is that what we're here to do?
That was the official intro.
Well,
Oh, wow.
did you want to redo it?
No,
We're sticking with that, eh?
I'm not a quality person.
Yeah. Quantity over quality.
We don't do that
Obviously.
either, though.
We just do
We're just not good. Maybe you're just not good.
No one ever said we were
Actually,
good.
there are J number of people that think we're good and have contributed to our Patreon.
J
Yeah,
number?
like A, B,
We
C,
didn't even
D,
finish
F, G, all the
introducing
way to
everyone,
J.
so...
I think people know who's here now. Hi,
Well,
I'm
Nathan's
Christian.
only ever been on... This is his second episode.
That's true.
So your
Oh,
voice
yeah.
is not the most recognizable.
Also, I don't know how to talk into a mic, so my voice is probably garbage.
Use your voice.
Yeah. You just talk, really. Step one, talk. Step two... No, stop that. God. Honestly, it hurts my ears when you do that. But joining us today is Christian. This will be his last episode that he's on.
Definitely
Well, I
last
just lost
episode.
editing privileges. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not coming back here.
Can only view
Just
the...
dump.
He's going to be able to view everything we do.
Not.
Also, we should remove his ability to comment on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
It's like
and on our
screaming into a
Instagram and Twitter.
And delete
Probably-
my texts from your
I'll
numbers.
block him from my phone. I don't care. Oh,
Take away your rights to see your children.
that's right.
Petition the government to lock you up in indefinite solitary confinement.
That's actually a blessing for him.
Finally, I can finish my book.
Yeah. Gets to paint more Warhammer that way.
You're not getting out until you're done.
You mean
You
start
mean
painting.
start
Yeah,
painting?
Start
Yeah.
painting, I guess, is the more.
All right.
Ramble. Okay. We got a bunch of Patreons.
We do. Yeah. We have ever since our last episode. So we just want to say thank you to our new subscribers and people who want to see us succeed. So thank you, Ben. Thank you, Crambo. Robert. Quebec Prime. Quebec. Kuntus Meti.
Of course, yes.
Kuntusmeti. Kentusmet. I don't even know. How do you say it? We need James so he can tell us where the name is from.
I think we should just call him Cunt for short.
No, probably not.
I think
Kunnnt. Kunt.
Kunt.
the double N. Yeah.
Oh,
Kunt.
I'm not good with reading, but yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Kunt. We got Charlie, David, Philip, Squiz,
Squiz.
Ah, yes, Squiz.
and
Quiz and
William.
Kunte.
Squiz and Kunt.
Best friends.
Yeah, thanks for
Yikes.
contributing. Please become a patron. We're trying to buy stuff for us.
Yep,
We want to go on vacation.
that's right. We've heard that Hawaii is really nice.
Yeah.
So
No, but we're trying to buy a bunch of stuff for Lorehammer. We're looking at buying a camera here, so help
Yes.
contribute, and then you guys will be able to see us actually do this, and it will be awkward for everyone involved.
yeah, no one's gonna enjoy it. We're doing it just because we've got threats. So we've been threatened. We need to do this. But there's actually something kind of exciting we need to talk about before we get into anything, and that's our tournament.
Yeah, we're doing a tournament November 16th.
Mm-hmm. Kind of just like a game day tournament
Yeah,
thing.
really, it's more a game day.
We'll
than a
call it tournament because there's not really a better way to describe it. But we're not
We're not
competing.
We're
for
not.
gold.
No, we're not like gamers. We don't play games.
No,
So
Warhammer's a serious hobby.
that's right. It's a
Not-
hobby.
It's
a
not
way
a
of
game
life.
in the first place.
It's a philosophy.
When you don't like money, you play Warhammer.
But
Yeah.
what's pretty cool is we actually got a official sponsor for the tournament.
I don't know if anyone here knows, but there is a like Warhammer app, and it is called Warhammer Combat Cards, and it is done by Flare Games, which is like the company that developed it.
Yeah.
and
And it's like officially sponsored by GW. to,
yeah,
like,
they
make this
worked.
product.
They worked with Games Workshop
Yeah.
to make the game, but they're actually going to be sponsoring our tournament, which is awesome. So
Yeah,
we are going to
yeah.
talk about the game for a heartbeat.
Yeah, because they gave a very generous donation
That's right.
of
Money.
money. So now we feel obligated to talk about that.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of the way that works, right?
Yeah.
Money for goods and services. In this case, our time. No, but I didn't even know this game existed until they contacted us.
is that a good way to start an ad? Like,
Well, I didn't. I just. How would I know? I don't know, right? So the only way people, you
they're
figure,
already regretting paying us.
100%, 100%.
What a bunch of suckers.
It's not. No, so as soon as I heard about the game, like I went and downloaded it, and
Yeah.
I've been playing it for a hot minute now.
Yeah.
But
It seems pretty cool. Like, if you were to sum it up, it's kind of like Hearthstone type.
yes,
it's a
but
deck building
it's a
game.
way more simple game than those, because one of the things that would stop most people from playing a game like Hearthstone or like Magic or the Yu-Gi-Oh, any of the deck building games,
Yeah.
is that there's just so goddamn much,
Yeah.
and it takes so much to get into. But it's actually a really simple game, easy to understand, but
Yeah.
the more you play and the more you unlock and get access to, you can actually make like fun moments that are actually well thought out and planned.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the nice thing
It's
about
nice
it.
too that you can just pick it up, play it for 5 minutes. You're not sucked into a 20 minute
Yeah, the
game
games are
or something.
very quick,
Yeah,
which is
like-
nice.
Yeah, because, sometimes that's all you have when you're standing in the lineup. So
hmm
it was a fun little game. I played it for a little bit. I'm not much of a gamer, so I only dabble with the Minecraft. They're not a sponsor.
no.
So.
I go back for those free packs.
Oh, yeah. Or like if you log in once a day or something, you get free cards. Or
Once, 3, every 8 hours.
something? Every 8
Come
hours,
on,
there
you
you go.
Well, then there's also anyways.
Yeah, so that's kinda cool,
We'll
so-
talk more about it.
Eric
Yeah.
doesn't have a job right now, so he's got that free time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll continue to talk about it and share other aspects that we enjoy in further episodes.
Yeah.
But in this one, the reason you guys should check it out is because it is simple, but still fun, and the mechanics are super easy to understand.
Yeah, but they
So
still got some depth to them. Like,
Yes.
eventually, the
Yeah,
core
it
mechanics are
adds
simple,
more and
but,
more
like,
and
yeah.
more.
Yeah,
So it's
But,
it's really nice
yeah.
in that way. The link is in our show notes, our episode notes, kind of.
Warhammer combat cards.
Yeah, you
Warhammer
should-
40k combat
So
cards.
you should be able to find it.
Yeah,
Either way, if you can't, check out our link.
yeah.
Download the game. Try it
Yeah,
out.
support people who support other people
Us.
to support things.
Yeah. Spread the love.
Be a bra
What?
and support people. Instead of be a bro, be a bra. Eric, just don't worry about it. I'm not a professional advertiser.
We're humorists.
English user.
No, definitely not that. Yeah, let's jump into the episode though.
Cool. Let's talk about Custodes.
Yeah, the Custodes, the Talons of the Emperor.
Custodes.
The Custards.
All are acceptable, I think.
The Banana Boys.
We're starting to
Banana
get in
hammocks?
some gray area.
If we're allowed to call them custard, we're definitely allowed to call them banana
I
boys.
think we're allowed to say whatever we want, technically.
In fact, so we don't get copyrighted, from now on we shall call them the Banana Boys.
Someone's definitely copyrighted that.
I don't recommend Googling it.
We got a good quote here for you. Eric, people
Sure.
like your reading voice.
So I've heard. These men are my bodyguards, their lives forfeit to the guarantee of my physical safety. Of their loyalty to me there shall be no question nor doubt. I, and I alone, shall have the authority to stand in judgment over them. No other commander shall they have in battle, nor in service. None shall bar them from me, and none shall hamper or stall their mission. So it is decreed. That was said by Nathan of Lorehammer.
While
Sounds
playing
right.
his
So it
custodes on
was.
tabletop.
So it was decreed.
So it is.
No, that was a quote from the Emperor of Mankind.
Yeah, from that quote, you can really get away. You can get an understanding of what they're all about. They're the personal bodyguards of the Emperor, but they go beyond that too. They have like authority over anyone basically in the Imperium. Eric gives me a look. I think. No look.
Well, not over. I don't know.
Was there a look? There was a look.
No. I mean, yeah,
There was a look.
Still, Eric has something to say because he looks at you.
And he goes, does.
it's a yes and no scenario. Like
There. Okay. Sure.
there are some things that aren't technically under like the purview of the custodes, and so if the it like
I'm sorry, I falsely advertised for them and for combat cards.
there was no false advertising for combat cards. All of that was true. Yeah. No, they definitely. It's also hard to argue with someone who looks like a god. So
Sure.
even if technically they don't have authority over you, I'm still gonna do what the 10-foot tall man in armor, gold and shining,
9
beautiful
foot tall.
armor, says to me. No, this one was slightly taller.
Fuck. Their primary role is to guard the Emperor. That's their primary role.
But they were his guards forever. Like they weren't just the guards while he was
Alive.
a skeleton, but no, I'm saying they were his guards
Oh.
while he was alive. Like, yeah, they followed him to battle.
Yeah. Also, they also act as like the Emperor's like intelligence agency. Like they know everything that's happening in the Imperium. They report back directly to the Emperor to keep him in the loop.
Well, did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a did statement.
Well,
Yeah, but they still maintain that function.
Yeah.
Even for themselves, right? How better to protect than to know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
To know what you're guarding against.
if you want to take out a threat, you need to know where the threat's coming from.
Exactly.
So you got to have your ear to the space, as it were.
they were also the Emperor's like one of the few things the Emperor actually trusted with any actual information. Like even lots of the Primarchs, the Emperor did not trust with any real information. He did not confide in them.
Yeah, he didn't share his knowledge of the warp with Magnus. Like he waited till Magnus stumbled upon
Yeah,
it, and then
exactly.
only gave him like enough.
Yeah. Where the only people are the Custodes and Malkador the Sigillite.
Yeah, you could even say they're confidants as much as bodyguards as well.
Yeah.
Like they give advice. There's advisors. They, they're sounding boards for him. I was like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this, or we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
They kind of pitch their 2 cents into.
Yeah. The Emperor can't be everywhere at once. He's busy banging the farmer's wife. So the Custodes are the right hand of the Emperor. And the Sisters of Silence are his left. We'll talk about them in the next episode.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
I like to be surprised.
They're seen to act with his authority.
Exactly.
Right. So that's what makes them interesting.
Yeah.
Is that when you see a Custodes, you can everything he does is unquestionable.
Exactly.
Because it's as if the Emperor himself did it. And
Yeah.
that might seem a little heavy-handed to say, but how are you going to argue with them?
Yeah, I think also something that's also true is they might not directly command anything, but no one can command them.
Yeah, that's a good
Except the
counterpoint.
Emperor.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
might not command like the Imperial Navy,
Yeah.
but the Imperial Navy can never tell them what to do.
No one can, except the Emperor himself.
I don't know. I think the new warrant, Bobby G might be able to now.
No.
Oh, I guess he can't command them.
He can't
but
command them. He has to request.
He offers, yeah.
Yeah, it's
He
like
asks,
you're
I
meeting as
guess.
equals. You're not.
Well,
You're not telling them.
I don't know if equals.
It's one of those
but
weird
yeah.
things where it's like, even if
Like
technically one doesn't have authority over the other, but both of you are working for the same goal, why not go allow someone to tell you what to do for a period of time while you complete this task?
Right. It's like if you're planning, say he's planning the grand strategy, he'll approach the Custodes and be like, hey, this is what we're planning. We would like you to do X and Y. And then they decide if they're going to do X and Y, but you're still not telling them what to do.
Sure.
Unless they allow you to.
Exactly, yes. And there's,
And I think they would. Well, just in some of the books and stuff, they...
Yeah, like
there's
Primarchs
a practical
definitely-
allowance. Like you're in the middle of a battle and you get orders. Obviously, you're like, you can't see everything other than the commander.
No.
But, yeah, they're not like in the hierarchy of the Imperium. No one tells them what to do but the Emperor.
Yeah. Yeah.
How can he? If he's dead.
Fuck.
Visions. That's how he tells them what to
The
do.
Emperor's Tarot. Oh man, we need to do an episode on the ways the Emperor gets in touch with people.
How
And
he
how-
touches people. I
Yeah.
got a lot of knowledge.
Farmers
Farmers.
one.
You know a lot of
You've
ways
been
he's touched
touched?
you.
I've been touched.
Multiple
Emperor
times.
touched. They don't call it sun touched. They call it Emperor touched.
Let's talk about the history.
Cool.
So we start all the way back around M30 during the Unification Wars on Terra. When the Emperor set about conquering Terra, he used 2 groups of soldiers to do it. His main battle force was the Thunder Warriors, and he also used his personal bodyguards, the Custodes.
So we've definitely shared about Thunder Warriors, how kind of they were like the precursors to Space Marines.
Yeah. Yep.
But and Custodes at this point were the same, like they were just as good back then
Yeah.
as they were in 40K.
Yeah.
But the only reason he didn't use them solely is because there's so many more. It's easier to make the Thunder Warriors.
Yeah,
than
and the
Custodes.
role of the Custodes are not to be a main. They're not
Frontline
a conquering
soldiers.
army.
Yeah, they're not.
That's not their role.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. They're made to be bodyguards.
Yeah.
And intelligent officers. So they were at the Emperor's side throughout the Unification Wars, although little is known about the exact exploits during the war. Like, we don't know how often they were actually going alone into battle, just them, conquering. They were probably just like bodyguard forces or commanders of the Thunder Warriors, potentially, or not really commanders.
We
We don't
just
know.
don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah. You don't know how many there were.
Yeah.
So makes it tough.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point they'll write a book about that.
Or release a whole series.
Oh, I would
Nope.
hate that.
The
I just
Unification
want a
Wars
one-off.
series.
Yeah,
I just want
I
a
would like
one-off.
just one.
And then a whole game
No.
attached to it through Forge World.
Oh god.
Oh.
No.
Techno. I want to be a techno Viking.
Yeah, no, doing like a simple board game like they did Warcry wouldn't be bad.
Right? I've been trying to convince Mark to do a
Well,
Unification
one-off
Wars.
games are nice. I wish I would I would be okay with that if it never took away from 40K. Do both, right? Like, give me the same effort you always put into 40K and just do those on the side.
You want your eggs scrambled, but also sunny side up.
That's right. If I can't have them both, give me none.
The one thing that we do know about the Unification Wars, the one role that Custodes did have, was at the last battle of the war, the Battle of Mount Ararat. The Custodes were charged by the Emperor with exterminating the loyal, serving, and remaining Thunder Warriors.
Wamp, wamp.
Although this was a secret, like no one knew this actually happened except for the Emperor, probably Malkador, and the Custodes.
And the
One.
And the Thunder Warriors.
the
at
5
times.
that survived or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, there was only a handful. There were a couple
Yeah.
that did survive, but the intent was to exterminate.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that they
Ooh,
survived
they
was-
failed the Custodes.
Eh.
wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last.
Damn.
As you will find out when
Is
the
the
Emperor.
first time, but it won't be the last.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess, yes. But yeah, like the reason the Emperor wanted the Custodes to do that is Eric kind of talked about it. Is the Thunder Warriors were the pre-Space Marines essentially. They were way more like roided up. They were berserkers. They were way more just
brutal
aggressive.
and uncontrollable.
Yeah, exactly.
So
as
he just
opposed
needed
to-
a clean slate, and he needed soldiers, not maniacs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then he ended up with the
Unification
World
Wars
Leaders
were
and the Blood Angels,
Yeah, yeah. The Unification Wars were just so like insane. He needed just berserkers to go wild and exterminate equally
people, yeah.
wild people.
Yeah.
So, and then you need soldiers to be able to run.
A crusade.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need something that has longevity, and the Thunder Warriors didn't have it.
Yeah, 'cause
they
that
also
was
had
another-
like a defect in them that caused them to die.
Yeah, they were it's like when your body's overly taxed. It's like,
Yeah.
sure, you can do a
There's
lot.
only so much energy that the body can
Yeah,
produce.
you can do
and
a lot
maintain.
for
What
a
does,
short amount of time, but then you
Brant
burn
always
out.
say? Something about candles burning bright, and he always says, "I'm going to burn out the brightest." Or
No, that was about a relationship that he was talking about. Yeah, I know what you're thinking of.
of course,
I've got the
course.
quote written
It
in
was
my
about a
phone.
relationship.
Yeah, it says a flame that bright burns out too quick.
Brant, every relationship he's ever been in.
One night of passion
Oh my god.
and a lifetime of darkness.
So, with Terra now securely in the Emperor's hands, though Earth was under the Emperor's rule, the Custodes were charged with maintaining the peace through intelligence gathering and eliminating anyone who thought to disturb or contradict the Emperor's rule. Like, there's still always people trying to fight back.
Yeah,
Always.
even after the Emperor secured his role, there are people like trying to usurp him, people like
Yeah.
doing dirty deeds on the back end and stuff, and the Custodes were there to eliminate those people.
Yeah.
And
As any good tyrant.
while they eliminated the people, they would often take like their children and they would raise them as new custodians as like that real like
Janissaries.
backhand.
F you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big backhand.
Just to be like, oh, so you're gonna die and your child's gonna be loyal to the emperor.
But the thing is, like, do you think anyone else in the family knew those children were becoming custodes?
Well, so in the one book, The Emperor of Mankind, which is about like the horse heresy, it talks briefly about like the emperor when he was a child, and also about a little bit of the unification wars. And a custode like broke into this encampment to assassinate a lady who was like rebelling against him. And he like told her, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna steal your child and make him a custodian. And she was like, oh, like she was like, oh, like will he survive? And he's like, well, probably not, but we're still gonna try.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, like, also they probably won't reveal that to the family.
That's what
'cause
I'm
the family's
thinking,
all
like-
traitors too, so there's
Well,
no murder.
yeah.
Murder
And
everybody
also
and
tell-
no witnesses.
It's
Like-
literally like a last screw you before you die.
Yeah, and they're not like it's not like solely like the custodians aren't all just these like traitors children. They're also like royal families will
Yeah.
offer up their children
Yeah.
to like the emperor and stuff like that as well.
So one of the rules about the custodes is like intelligence officers and like informants and also like negotiators. So like it would make sense, like even if you took their children, spared like the heretic that was rebelling, you know, then like 20 years later, that child is now with the emperor, serving the emperor. He can now go back to that family and like it kind of keeps the peace. Like you can work together. Like
That sounds good in principle, but when someone ascends to the role of a custody, they erase their past.
dude, does it say that they do that though?
They,
Like,
they
they
have
don't.
memories, but
they
they're
remember
not.
everything.
They're
but
not that person.
They're not
anymore.
loyal
But
to like
so
their
here's
family.
the difference though. Like yeah, I realize they're
It's
not
just a
loyal to the
tactic.
family.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like
100%.
It's meant
all
to make
about,
the
like,
other
subterfuge.
people
Yeah,
exactly.
It's
more
more of a
welcome
tactic
to it.
against
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other
No, in no
people.
way am I implying they actually care about those
No,
people.
no.
But
They're not salamanders.
They're not so pure.
but yeah, that's kind of what we know about the unification wars in them. Yeah, let's hop into the Great Crusade.
All right.
What a
Here
smooth
we go.
transition. Just about to start. Almost ready.
During the
Here-
Great Crusade.
That's
Just starting.
What?
that's my and Christian having
Jokes.
foreplay. What are we doing?
Foreplay is a
foreplay
joke.
How dare you? How dare you, sir?
So during the Great Crusade, they would continue to serve the emperor on the field of battle, much like their role during the Unification Wars. So bodyguards, intelligence officers, assassins, including rare direct action against enemy forces in the early days of the Great Crusade.
Yeah, like there's examples of like when the emperor was, you know, fighting the orcs and stuff. The custodes were there. Like there's a story of some custodes teleporting into a group of orcs, and within like seconds, like hundreds of thousands of orcs were dead. Do you remember the exact numbers? But it was
No.
something like that. It was like
But yeah, it's insane.
yeah, it was
Like
Yeah.
an unbelievably ridiculous,
Impossibly high number.
yeah, almost like it was made up, that number.
Yeah,
That's how high.
Weird how that is.
They kept rolling dice, and every time like a 3 or higher was rolled, they added one more zero to the
Yeah,
number of orcs were
exactly.
killed in that. Like the writers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were doing stuff during the Great Crusade. However, midway through the Great Crusade, the emperor retired to Terra. The majority of the custodes went back with him, although some remained with some of the legions as emissaries, undergoing personal missions assigned by the emperor himself, operating as his hands and eyes amongst the legions after the emperor's return to Terra.
Yeah.
Um,
You would trust them the most.
yeah, and like oftentimes it was kind of just like keep your eye on them, like
Yeah, it particularly like most notably happened with the word bearers after they were sanctioned. The emperor sent, I think, 5 custodians to go keep an eye on them and report back to Terra
yeah.
what they were doing.
Custodians?
Yep.
Janitors?
Mhm.
Custodian guards.
Yeah,
Custodians.
janitors.
I wanted to make that joke at some
Because
point.
they have to clean up the galaxy all on their own.
Damn. Someone's got to clean up this mess.
But yeah, there's some other examples too, like
Yeah, that
guess-
was just the most notable.
yeah.
but- yeah, and it wasn't always on bad terms, right? They're not always
No.
just like, oh, we're just keeping an eye on you because we don't trust you. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, you want to be disseminating information amongst all your allied forces too, right? You
Yeah.
want-
And you want a direct tie from
Terra. Yeah.
Terra to these people, so or to the Primarchs or to whatever, or so that was basically their role during the Great Crusade.
After the Emperor left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The majority of them went back to Terra with the Emperor, but some stayed.
Noise.
The Horus Heresy.
This is my least favorite part
Of
all 40.
when Horus does the heresies. It's so sad.
He does all the heresies.
I know.
all the butt stuff.
Oh,
Yeah. All the blood rituals.
blood
I was reading about
rituals.
Nordic wedding rituals. It's pretty crazy.
do you have to throw yourself off a mountain?
No, you don't. Something that's common, though, is you get like a pot of boiling blood.
Yeah.
And then you'll take that blood and pour it on like a lineup of wooden statues,
Yeah.
like represent Nordic gods. And then the Gotter, which is like their pagan priest or whatever, he'll take some of that blood and like rub it on like in a rune on your forehead. And that like represents the union between you
The gods.
and the gods.
Is it blood still boiling when he puts it on your forehead?
I hope not.
But who's to say?
Who's to say?
Yeah, hard to say.
Thank you for that little bit of history for us, Eric.
Oh, you're welcome.
I feel smarter. I feel more informed about
Just
the
saying
world
I
around
want
me.
a Nordic wedding.
We charge extra for that.
The Horus Heresy. So yeah, after Horus declared himself openly as a traitor, the role of the Custodes became more active and critical.
Their duties expanded beyond the close personal protection of the Emperor, and they became vital to the overall framework of the defense of Terra and the Sol system, gathering data and intelligence on the enemy and guarding against threats from within that could destabilize the Empire at such a critical time.
Yeah. The Custodes were personally assigned to the protection of the Imperial Palace, and after Magnus definitely did something wrong, forced the Custodes to defend against the potential demon incursions through the Emperor's secret project in the Vaults of Terra.
We're just going to skip over that.
Definitely did something wrong.
Inconsistency in our notes. Sorry to all the people out there.
And the Webway War is one of the most brutal wars that was fought during this time. Like, it lasted 5 years. The Horus Heresy lasted 7, so it almost lasted the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy part is, so the Custodes are 10,000 strong. And at the end of the 5 years, there's only about 1,000 of them left. And the majority of those were lost during the Webway War. I'm sure a handful of them would have been due to other casualties.
Yeah, because they were still doing other things.
They
It's
were,
just,
but
that was their active
They were usually
front.
sent out in like 10-man, 5-man squads,
Yeah.
like if that.
Yeah.
So the vast majority of them, like of the best soldiers the galaxy's ever seen, 9,000 of them dead.
Yeah, which is also an important thing to say is how hard it is to actually kill these guys. Like, that is no mean feat to almost exterminate them. That's
You just toss a demon prince.
Demon princes.
Yeah,
that's not gonna, you're going to need a lot more than...
Yeah.
Yeah. The Webway War is pretty cool. They have, is it a Master of Mankind? You read that book? Yeah, they do a lot of it in there.
Because that has the best quote the Emperor ever said in that book.
You care to share it with us?
Nope.
I'll make it up then. I have risen.
No.
Close.
Okay.
Just the opposite of that, though.
Yeah.
I've risen?
I have
No.
unrisen.
Unrisen.
I am unleavened bread. I have deflated.
What's the quote?
Oh, I don't know.
The Emperor says that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best quote that I've ever seen.
Further
from him.
proving my theory about the Emperor.
You shut
and him
your
being
whole
actually
mouth, Mark.
not intelligent. I knew it. Everything I say is truth. I knew it from
That's my
day
favorite
one when
quote,
my
though.
mama said, "What?"
It
It's
was
my favorite quote.
It's probably the only redeeming part of that book.
Mm.
It's not very good.
As all 40K books
Most
tend
do.
to be. Yeah. The Custodes' reach also extended outwards as well. As the talons of the Emperor, they underwent specifically assigned missions to critical battlefield operations. One of the main ones that had the largest concentration was the attack on Prospero.
Oh, Prospero.
Eventually, Horus though reached Terra, and the Custodes were vital in the role of holding off the traitors. Like they fought, and they fought.
Well, yeah. Of course, the Imperial Palace is being sieged. Terra's at siege. They're going to
That's their
fight.
jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their final act was accompanying the Emperor onto Horus's flagship to deal with Horus once and for all. during the battle between the Emperor and Horus, it is rumored that the Emperor still had hope to redeem Horus, like mid-fight. But during the battle, a lone custode entered the room and Horus lashed out, killing him. Oh, you're adding stuff. It's jumping lines, killing him almost instantly.
Can we pause there for a sec?
Yeah,
That's not confirmed.
I was gonna get to it.
Oh, okay.
And that's when the Emperor knew Horus was finally like
He was unredeemable.
unredeemable, and then that's when he killed Horus. For the longest time, he was just holding back. But yeah, like Christian said, like this isn't confirmed.
Well, it hasn't been written yet.
It hasn't been officially written.
Well, it
yet,
has
and-
been written in different capacities over time.
Yeah, and it's changed multiple
How
times.
long ago?
Like
And
pretty long ago.
Yeah.
but at one point, this was a part of the lore where like it kind of shows that connection that the Emperor had with the Custodes. Like that one Custode walked in, Horus still at hope, or the Emperor still at hope. And they'd seen what he did. He's like, my boy.
What have they done
My
to my
sweet, beautiful
What's
boy.
that meme?
How
What's
they
that meme?
massacred? Look how they
Look
massacred
at
my boy.
my boy. Exactly.
Horus kills a fellow Primarch. The Emperor's like, but you're like still probably good, right? Kills the same
I really
custode.
only
He's
met
like,
Sanguinius once or
he's like,
twice.
oh shit, you're going down now.
Yeah.
That was Jimmy. He killed Jimmy.
Then he lists all the titles for Jimmy.
All his names.
Yeah.
Sanguinius only had one name.
That's why the fight took so long. You had to list all of Jimmy's titles.
Yeah, but that role, it could have been a space marine. It could have been even a lone guardsman. Is one
Yeah.
version of the story.
It has a couple different versions.
a
So
guardsman on Horus's
Whoa.
flagship.
yeah, like that one doesn't make any sense.
Unless that
Point, he might-
guardsman
at that
is-
point, it's probably just a rough rider. He deep struck in with his horse.
With his horse. So he wasn't actually mad about the guardsman.
No,
He
it was
mad
the
about
horse. It was the horse.
It was
Oh
a
my
beautiful
God.
horse.
As soon as
Oh,
an animal
Penelope.
dies, everyone always feels that gut wrenching.
rage.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Humans. Nah.
Especially a horse whimpering. Ugh.
right?
They don't whimper, they scream.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I've never heard a horse scream before.
Never?
Oh.
Not when I set the barns on fire. No.
The flames are too loud.
Oh. Cool.
But
Thought
the
my
Emperor defeated
suicide
Horus,
humor was a little
but was
dumb.
mortally wounded and interred upon the Golden Throne. The Custodes had failed
For the second time.
for the second time, and not the last,
That's right.
and fell into a grief after the heresy that lasted roughly 10,000 years.
And they wore black like emos.
I didn't get out of
they did.
bed.
They were sad, okay?
They all styled their hair in a swoop.
You mean in
Raven Guard pattern.
Raven Guard?
Yeah,
pattern,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What legion is Raven Guard? What
Like
number?
their number?
Yeah.
Is it
Either way, I'm gonna-
XVI? No.
Sure. Mark
16?
XVI
Is it 16?
Raven Guard hair pattern.
I don't know if it's actually that.
It's not that important. It was a poor joke. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Sure.
It was an okay joke.
Well, that's
at
what
best.
the Raven Guard actually modeled their hair after the Custodians.
Oh God.
Like the Raven Guard in the 40K,
Mhm.
they saw the Custodians with that hair and they were like, that's awesome.
Oh, the hair flip.
Yeah.
did a sick hair flip. They're like, yes.
I want to be just like those guys. And the Custodians emerged wearing like gold and red, and they're all like, God damn it.
We followed their whole aesthetic.
Yeah.
So this time of the Custodes from M30 to M40, it's not actually officially named, but we're gonna call it the Morning, and that's what they did for 10,000
Now we're
years.
just adding stuff.
Yeah, we
We're
are.
not even attempting to.
I very clearly stated that this was not actually.
We're
a
not even
thing.
attempting to hide it anymore.
I never do.
I always did.
I've always
I
been
just
biased
said
and-
stuff.
That was the
opinionated.
time where they went from being bodyguards to literal janitors. And
Yeah.
they just mopped up the Imperial Palace for
for 10,000 years.
10,000
Well,
years.
it's not like they let anyone else in the Imperial
No,
Palace.
no, not even close.
But yeah, like they literally like fell into a grief because they failed in their charge of protecting the Emperor. They did make small cameos throughout these 10,000 years, like through the Age of Apostasy. Like they talked to Sebastian Thor and Alicia
Dominic.
Yeah,
And
They
there's
made an
good
appearance there.
reasons for it. They have like a true like reason
Yeah.
for it.
Usually when something is like so critical and things are so bad, they
And-
like something's at the gates of Terra.
yeah, and that's the
A
key.
threat
Usually
is-
it is at the gates of
Yeah,
Terra
they're not
itself.
going to Cadia, for example.
But they
Yeah.
also have other reasons for being outside of the Imperial Palace.
We'll get to those
Yeah,
later.
but that's all I'm saying is they stayed in the Imperial Palace,
Yeah.
but it's not impossible to have seen them outside the Imperial
Yeah.
Palace for random, unknown
There's
reasons.
actually like a sanction. There was a sanction put on them by the people, the
High Lords
of Terra, actually, to stay in the Imperial Palace. They weren't supposed to leave.
They don't listen to nobody.
But yeah,
So
they
like,
just
no
left
one may
anyway.
command them.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, that's cool. We're still gonna do
Thanks
what
for
we
the advice,
want."
bud.
Yeah,
Literally
they say,
out the
isn't
doors.
that interesting?" As they leave.
Walking.
Yeah. They also, whoever is the captain general of the Custodes holds a seat on the High Lords of Terra too. So like, not that he was really making day-to-day decisions, but he was
They
there.
still held a role.
Yeah.
And who knows
has
to what
the ability
extent.
to speak. and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Carries
Dictate
authority
how
there.
things go.
Yeah.
You want to talk about their armor later? About the morning?
Later. We'll
Okay.
talk when we get to their appearance.
Okay.
When we literally have an area that talks about it. Probably.
Oh.
You were
That's
here.
my guess anyway.
You were here for when we wrote this episode.
Yeah, and yet I still read these.
Maybe.
You were here, planned it, and you still don't know what's happening in it.
I haven't read any of this. That's why I'm
Oh, you're
jumping
doing-
around. Apparently,
Oh, you're doing great.
Great job, Nathan. Keep it up. You got it, brother.
You want to take the next part?
Yeah, read the next line.
what I'm getting is I'm not being asked back after this.
You're a Custodes guy, so you don't need to come back for anything else.
Dang. No, he's also a Thousand Suns guy.
Oh, this is true, but we're never touching Space Marines. So,
I could probably do Sisters of Silence. I
There
can
we
make
go.
up enough bullshit about that.
do you like women?
They're okay.
Well, I guess that's
Good enough, right?
You incel.
more than any of the rest of us have going for. Christian really hates women, is what I'm saying.
Oh my
He
God.
tells me in private all the
Oh
time.
my
Two of
gosh.
the four of
I'm
us.
not
are
burning on
married,
your
but
shit.
Yeah, okay.
So now there's 10,000 years where they're locked in the palace, and then the Dark Imperium happens. The current timeline.
The
With
Siccadricadix maledictum.
more D's and X's in there.
The Siccadricadix drixadica maledicadicadrixum.
Perfect.
Is that heretical enough?
Oh, there is something actually. But no, never mind.
Sure.
Continue.
Sure.
Continue.
Okay. The Dark Imperium. So with the awakening of Rabuk Gilliman, he was able to convince the Custodes to shake off their shame and go forth once again, and proactively challenge the enemies of the Emperor once again.
Yes.
I wonder what that conversation really happened. How much like pleading there was. Like, come on, please come join us. Like how?
Reboot doesn't like the Custodes actually.
Oh, really?
Well, I shouldn't say that. But so one of the books is written like kind of right before they have that conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like I think it's Korn does like a full scale assault on Terra. And so like these demons assault the Imperial Palace and the Custodes kind of like stop it. Well, the demons assault Luna as well, like the moon and Terra. And then what they're trying to do is stop the next Great Crusade from happening that Reboot wants to start.
The Indominus Crusade.
Yeah. So the black, so like I think it's like the Black Legion and Korn and stuff. I don't know, but Reboot's like because 10 I think it's 10 custodians and like 30 Sisters of Silence have to like jump onto this Black Legion ship to like stop it from like shutting off them from being able to like jump away from Terra, or else they're going to be confined to like the like solar
System?
Yeah. Oh,
He failed grade 6. Don't worry.
yeah. Anyways. And then so like these 10 custodians like basically just Shrek the Black Legion ship.
Yeah.
And that's when like Reboot shows off his new Spess Marines. They show up and help. But yeah, no, he's like, oh yeah, let's see if these guys are any good, because we're gonna go and I guess like save their butts. And they're just like chilling on the Black Legion ship, just like racking shit. And he's like, oh, they're pretty good, I guess. But yeah. And then he's like, great. And then he talks to Valoris, Valerie, Trajan Valerie.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, so this should be a thing. You guys should come out and do stuff again. And he's like, yeah, I guess so.
It was just that easy.
Yeah, that's easy. That's
Okay.
easy. Yeah.
I didn't know that they actually wrote about it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
He doesn't read books.
I don't think they wrote about the conversation. I don't know. It's been a while since I read the book, but it was something like, they just,
Don't worry. If someone wrote about it, we'll hear about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Someone right now is screaming into
Fucking
their
people.
phone.
Some people need to relax.
That's okay.
That's
They
all
can
right.
yell at me. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not coming on the show again. So.
Screw Lord.
Me neither.
Screw you guys. Yeah.
No.
Samesies.
This is always my last episode.
It doesn't. It also doesn't like. It doesn't have to be that Reboot even had to convince the Custodes. It very well also could have come from the Emperor.
Maybe, sure.
Yeah. That's kind of how I preferred to think about it, was
Well,
that they were...
yeah.
So Reboot went in and saw the Emperor,
Yeah.
and the Custodes are always... Like
There,
if they're not always in the room, they always have access to that.
They're
room.
always in
Those
the
are,
room.
yeah. We'll get
They're
into that
never
later.
more than.
But so if even if it didn't necessarily come from a boot, it very well could have been the Emperor's. Like, it's time to cast off,
Yeah.
your grief. It's time to go reclaim something. So
Yeah.
I prefer to think of it that way, because I do like the idea that nothing can truly tell them what to do.
Yeah.
So it's cool to think that there's something truly above authority.
And that person is Eric.
Yeah.
I'm the Emperor's father.
Oh,
I spanked him when he was younger.
the Emperor is like one of the first humans ever born.
That's
Yeah.
not-
What does that tell you about me?
That you're a liar.
I've got
you're a
filthy liar.
I've got a Benjamin Button kind of thing going on.
Oh, you're very saging.
That's why I look like
He
a
still
12-year-old.
lived- Yeah, he still lived like the same amount of years. It was just
I'm
in
also
reverse.
psychic.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
also
A
immortal.
lot of lies going on.
I'm immortal, but I age. So figure that one out.
But reverse aging.
We're-
There's a lot of
aging.
stuff going on in
His
my
cells
body.
don't know what they're doing. That's why they don't die.
Mostly
They're just
cancer.
so
It's a
confused.
lot of cancer going on in his path.
I
And
got a
his
lot of
brain,
weird
too,
things in my body. I got a soft body. Doughy.
10 ply over here.
Yeah.
Sitting.
Oh, jeez. So that's Custodes in the current state.
That's right.
They're going back. They're not soft-bodied. They're hard-bodied.
They're
once
hard
again.
Those are some
bodied.
hard,
They're not wearing-
oiled, greased
They're
up
not wearing
bodies.
black anymore.
Yep,
They
they're-
don't really wear clothes.
Somewhere black.
Going greased up like a pig.
What's harder to catch?
It's harder to catch, yeah.
You ever tried to catch a greased pig?
Greased pig and a spear right there. That's what they are.
You ever try to fuck a grease pig?
Well, you'd have to catch it first.
Not if you're doing it right.
No, that's doing it wrong. That is doing it wrong, Mark.
Taking all the fun out of it at that point.
It's not a challenge.
Yeah.
Why bother?
Why, yeah.
I feel like we're having a conversation between Squiz and Cletus.
It's Kuntis.
Kuntis, Cletus, and Squiz.
So let's talk about the Custodes' appearance. The Custodes are large, like
Haven't we? Beautiful, oiled up bodies.
Isn't that what we've been doing this whole
Yeah.
Ripping
I've been
eight-packs.
waxing poetic.
Maybe 10 packs. Who knows at this point?
30 packs.
they got all the packs.
How many packs can you fit in one body? You know that scene
They
in
obviously
Captain
get-
America is the first Avenger when he comes out of that pod and the British intelligence officer like goes to touch his
Agent
peck.
Carter? You
Yeah,
sexist.
Agent Carter.
How dare you?
She goes to touch his peck and like flinches away from it and like
That's
That's Eric's
the-
fairy.
no, that's a
That's
custody
the way
when they
Eric
get
treats his
nominated.
cat. Oh,
No, that's
The Emperor's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's so impressed with his own
Yeah.
handiwork. They're so beautiful and perfectly
Oh my God.
proportioned that he enjoys the artwork of it, you know?
but yeah, they're large figures. They're like 9 feet tall. We don't have an exact height. Plus, it's like
It's going to
height
change.
varies.
It's-
but
yeah.
they are
Yeah.
taller than.
They're a little bit
typical
more
Space
like
Marine, so-
individual than like a space marine. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like,
They're not batch produced.
No, no,
That's
no.
what makes this appearance part so interesting is that they can actually look much more different.
Yeah.
They wear golden armor covered in the symbols of the Imperium, typically like aquillas and eagles. And do they have lightning bolts on them too?
no,
No.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, I thought they did.
On their chest. and
Maybe
shit.
they do. Yep.
You model them. You
They
don't even
super do. Yep. Now that I'm thinking about
They'll
it.
usually have like red helmet plumes or like horsehair helmets or capes, and that's usually always just
I think
like
it's
red.
actually horsehair.
No,
Yes.
horses are long extinct.
Yeah.
Ah, the Rough Riders.
Christian
beg to
burned them
differ.
all in the year 2020 in the Great Horse
I
War.
finally finished my horse crusade.
The Great Burning.
I made a lot of money on the glue.
Found
Oh,
out a
no.
couple of weeks ago that there are still wild horses.
Yeah.
In Canada even then.
That just
Yeah.
like blows my
Yeah,
mind.
there's an island
Why?
in eastern Canada. It's got like wild horses. It's pretty sweet.
Why does that?
There's
blow
like
my
entire
mind?
migrations of wild horse.
I don't know.
herds.
I just kind of assumed they were kind of all.
You want to know
Yeah.
something
Oh.
crazy? Horses aren't native to Canada either.
I did know that. Yeah.
Who doesn't know that?
Yeah.
You want to know something crazy though?
What?
Horses aren't native to Earth.
Shit.
All of Earth creatures were actually seeded by an asteroid that hit that had
Was
one.
Buddha. Buddha came on an asteroid. No, I'm not even kidding.
In the form of a horse, though.
No. He just spread life.
in the form of a horse cock.
Buddha went around,
in the form of
using
a
his horse
cock
cock, spreading-
specifically,
spraying his seed on fields, creating
just
new
like
life.
this ambiguous
No,
horse
that's-
penis running around.
Like,
Spreading
how
life.
is
How
you
does
know
it
what? Don't
move?
worry about it.
I hope someone downloads the
like a
podcast.
It's like a
and just-
slug.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, it's like in Big Mouth. Like, these are all my dicks. You see them like wiggling around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is all real stuff.
Don't
has
like
happened.
that. I preferred it when it was just Buddha on an asteroid.
After the fall of the emperor, we were joking about it, but it actually happened. They did end up taking off all their armor, and they wore only black.
They still wore
10,000.
armor. It was just instead of like red or whatever color it was, that was black.
So there's two. So there's the typical custodes, like there's 10,000 custodes, and then there's 300 of them called the companions, and they remove their armor.
Except
Wow.
also in new lore. So here's the thing: we have a lot of conflicting information from old lore, new lore, stuff that has been retconned, stuff that is still left ambiguous.
Yeah.
So in the old lore, yes, they literally stripped down. That's where the whole joke meme comes from, especially people who watch Emperor had text-to-speech device where they run around like with their oiled abs and stuff. It's a joke that was based on the truth that they literally stripped down pretty
It's
much.
not a joke. It was real. I was there.
Well, yeah, they stripped down literally. There's pictures of them like in underwear and a helmet. However,
Dancing.
yeah. However,
Striking poses.
to
yeah.
better protect the emperor with.
with their oiled abs.
With their
They're
interpretive
looking-
dance.
Yeah.
yeah.
You gotta do yoga to maintain
The physique.
peak physique.
Mhm.
But in new lore, it's said that their armor was burned black from being so close to the emperor. So it implies obviously they were wearing armor and they draped
Oh, really?
black cloth over their
They were
armor,
burnt
yeah.
black.
like because the emperor is so radiant with light.
So you're saying,
Dude, I don't do the science of 40K.
no.
okay?
Like, when
That's
did
a whole
this?
other
Because
podcast.
did all of their
the
armors
companions,
burn?
the companions specifically.
Oh,
That-
okay.
The ones who
Yeah.
are standing vigil over the emperor's body, supposedly their armor is darkened.
So anyone
by
who's like
proximity
in
to
the
emperor.
like throne
into the
room,
throne room, being actually
standing
in the
on
light.
guard, they are interesting.
Now,
That's an interesting thing because people also go into that throne room to get their eyes burned out. Who's that? Astropaths?
yeah,
Yeah,
they go through the was it a bonding or I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
some ritual.
and he like activates some other latent psychic ability that they have, but in the process they lose vision because they're blinded.
Literally
But
blinds
kind
them.
of that kind of I guess kind of fits like another tidbit of
yeah.
interesting.
But again, like the details are always sketchy with GW.
It's
Yeah.
not. There's a book written about it.
Okay, then
About being
inform
naked?
us.
Yeah.
Naked
Well, I don't know.
custodes?
I shouldn't say. I think in the book the same book. I don't even remember what it's called. I think it's called The Emperor's Legion. That
I don't
sounds
know.
right.
That's about the
It's about the book.
Emperor's Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about the so.
Oh yeah, that one.
In that book, anyways, they all like because they're all still technically in mourning because it's before Bobby G comes back and is like, all right, let's go fight again, and they all wear armor and stuff in that.
yeah, and they don black cloaks.
Yeah,
and
and they
cover
just exactly.
the red and black.
Yeah, they just
cloth.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm talking the companions specifically. Everyone else is still wearing their golden clad armor, but they're changing out the red colors for black.
And the other ones are
Are you
wearing
fact
black
checking that?
armor and black cloaks.
Yeah, in theory.
Well, what do you mean in theory?
Well, I don't know what they wear because you don't see them. I'm blinded every time I try to look. Aaron.
Well, regardless of what they're wearing, they once Reboot Gilliman, once they go back on Crusade, they
resurrect their old colors.
they take off
That
the black and
classic,
they
the black or like the white and whatever else they wear, since there's a couple different colors.
Yeah,
that
there
they
are
wear.
some variants.
Yeah.
Based on their roles.
Yeah.
There's a sweet cover actually. I think it's for the Emperor's Legion where they're wearing the black and they have like a black
Mhm.
cloth pinned over their red shoulders
Yep.
and stuff. Yeah, it looks pretty sweet. If anyone's interested to look it up.
Cool. So yeah, that's kind of what they look like. Let's jump into the organization. We'll start with kind of the ranks, and we'll start from the top and work our way down. So the leader of the custodes is called the general, or the captain general, and I think there's been 13 of them in total. But yeah, they're the
Since 30K.
yeah. And they usually end up dying in battle, but I don't know how that's possible if they're not leaving Terra. Makes a man wonder.
They
Who's
might have
telling the
left
truth?
Terra once or twice.
Well, they're just not allowed to. Doesn't mean they don't.
Shield, yeah, no, exactly. But that they're called the Captain General, and they lead the Custodes, and they also hold a seat on the High Lord's Terror.
And the current Captain General.
It's Trajan Valerie.
Valorous.
Trajan Valorous.
We've messed up the name so long.
Trojan Valerie.
Yeah, we call him Trojan Valerie. It kind of adds a little humor to this absolute monster on the tabletop. So
Yeah,
That's
he
what you
makes
say
most
when you're
people
like
cry,
scared and intimidated.
so-
Yeah,
so you try to bring him down just a little
exactly, make him
But
look
you
a
know
little
you're
less in your eyes. Yeah, if he gets in combat, you're done.
bit. Who was the first Captain General?
Trojan Valerie.
No, Constantine Valdor.
And
he's also-
Constantine Valdor was Captain General, I think, like up until the Horse Heresy.
and
And
even
through
after.
it.
And after it. Yeah, after it. Because then he like went into exile.
Now, do we know
because-
he's the first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's always been with the Emperor, like since the Emperor rose from obscurity.
Yep. Yeah.
Crazy.
Um,
We'll have to do an episode on him at some point.
yeah, for sure.
TM soon.
Sooner than any Space Marine episode. I'll tell you that much.
No,
Oh,
that's not true.
shit.
So next we have the Custodian Tribunate. Tribunate?
Tribunate?
They die a
Tribunate?
little more often than the CGs do.
And these are a group of 10 custodes who act as advisors to the Captain General. What's cool about them is you have to have at least 10 names. Custodes, we'll get into their names a little bit later, but you have to have at least 10, and you have to have led the custode in at least 3 combat victories.
Which doesn't actually seem that many.
Well,
When you
especially
think
when
like
every time they enter a
is a
battlefield,
victory.
is a victory.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking of.
They
So,
have to make it to the battlefield 10 times. That's
Yeah.
3.
3 times, sorry.
That seems odd.
But they have to get 10 names too.
Yeah, the name seems a much more difficult thing to attain than 3 combat victories. Than leading 3 combat victories.
Well, the thing is, too, like, this is a position that they hold for 10 years, and then they cycle out, because they specifically say they want, like, fresh advisors and stuff to keep, like, the custodes kind of always advancing and not just staying stagnant. So you don't want to make those requirements unattainable, because then you can't kind of cycle. So,
Sure.
sure. That's how I'm going to logic it through.
I think maybe we should just say it here. The Custodian Brotherhood, like if there's ranks amongst them, like designated ranks, it's very slight. Like they all are so good. You're talking like on, millimeters of difference in ability and things like that. So just because someone is like a brother captain, sure, on the tabletop is whatever, but like just because
I was gonna say that's not how it's represented.
you're a
on
brother
table.
captain
Yeah,
or something of like to that regard, like they still see people quote unquote beneath them as like being pretty much on par.
And like, at least like the way they don't really like their structure isn't even so much like if it's like a squad structure or whatever, it's pretty loosely formed. Like custodians kind of fight as like their own persons. They're
Yeah.
not like fighting as a group.
Yeah,
As
and
a
we'll talk a
unit.
little bit more about that later.
Yeah.
But it's also important to note that. So
Yeah.
yeah, just because they
so,
have
like,
these ranks and roles
their
is not
ranks are-
necessarily.
Yeah.
Like they listen, like if it's like, so like if
Yeah.
the Captain General tells them something, they'll listen. But yeah, it's very slight. And like, also there's so many ranks that it's
Yeah,
like,
and we'll get into that when we get into shield captains, because they got a bunch that, like, you're all shield captains, but then you have ranks inside the shield captains, but none of them actually have any meaning that you can decipher.
It's all meaningless.
It's all-
because it's all made up.
basically, it's all
Yeah.
meaningless.
So up next we got the Tribune, and they're a senior officer, of which there are 2. There used to be 3 during the Horus Heresy. Now there's only 2.
Do those lead the casts?
Nope. One of them leads the companions, and then the other one's just kind of the whole. It kind of leads
Everything
the rest,
else.
everything else.
Yeah.
So then what's
One guy gets like
300 guys.
you gotta lead 300. The other guy's like, yeah, you have to lead like 900. Shit. No, 9,000. I guess
9,700.
9,700. Yeah.
Well,
see
technically
why
he
you
doesn't
build
lead
math
himself.
Oh yeah, and he doesn't lead the Captain General
or the Tribunate? This gets tough.
Holy shit.
It's
He might
more
lead
math
the
than I'm
Tribunate.
capable of
But then they
doing.
also don't really lead anyone. They're all kind of on the same level.
Yeah.
He's just a senior officer. It just means that if custodian ever get in trouble for something,
They
he
know who to
takes
shit
the
on.
fall.
Oh, no. But
All
one
the
is a
responsibility, none of the pay.
Yeah.
they let the Emperor die and they didn't get too much flack. So how much trouble can they really get
You're
in?
not
That's
wrong.
fair.
You had
High Lords
one
of
job.
Terra- when the High
One
Lords of Terra
job.
come knock, and it's kind of like, all right, come at us. Like, sure. What are you gonna do?
Up next, we got shield captains, and like we're saying, like this, they have different ranks inside the shield captain. This is just a general classification with many ranks and titles inside. But they basically will lead either whole shield companies or just a squad. And depending on the rank that you attain as a shield captain, you'll just lead more and more guys until you're eventually leading a lot of guys.
Until eventually you are a custodian tribunate.
Yeah. So the different ranks that we know of, I think there's some more, but there's prefect, lictor, proconsul.
Lictor, I barely knew her.
Holy
Are
shit.
you gonna make that joke every time we say that?
No, just the one.
That might, yeah.
It's not great. It's just low hanging fruit. You, know?
You gotta
You
grab
pick it not because it's good fruit. It's just
I
it's
like that
there.
better than the you need joke though. You need some of this.
On tabletop, you definitely did. Not so much anymore, but
And then finally a tribune is the final one. So shield captains can be all those, but they're still a shield captain. And then you got your basic custode, and they're just called custodes. And you got different, depending on like what kind of squad you're in, you'll get a different type of title or a different rank depending on your squad. But you're still just a custode. You're on par with all the other custodes.
Custodians. Same thing. I'm just saying custodian isn't appropriate. You can call him a custodian.
Sure. Just
Before
that's
Eric
fine.
makes fun of me for it.
That's fine. It's all good.
No. If there was any kind of verbal slip up to make fun of in this thing, it's the fact that we're gonna get so much flack for Mark calling them custodes.
And I'm going to tell everyone who messaged me, I don't give a fuck.
I don't.
Well, yeah, of course. You're a stubborn old man who can't change with the times. I get it, but it's just that's what we're gonna get flack for.
What's
Are
the
we
proper
gonna-
way to say
It's
it?
custodies.
Custodes.
Astartes.
E.
It's a made up language.
No, for sure. But
None
doesn't
of you
that mean?
assholes speak High Gothic.
But doesn't that mean whoever created the
Excuse
word
me?
gets
You
to
don't know
determine?
No, I'm pretty
I
sure.
took High Gothic in university.
Yeah.
I took 314. Thank you.
I needed some easy credits, so I took High Gothic. Okay.
Oh yeah, I play 40K. I got this.
I got this. You just add E on the end of everything.
James actually messaged me a couple days ago out of nowhere. He's like, you know what really like gets me? I'm like, tell me, James. He's like, Primarch is a word made up with two different languages. It's like there's like a Greek root and like a Latin root, and he's like, that's dumb. And I was like, yep.
I'm gonna have to message him saying that.
I was like,
Dude, like, fuck.
I've been thinking about this for a while. And
Yeah, I feel like you're intelligent enough to get this. You'll be on my level.
I was like, it's almost like the people who wrote it either had no idea, didn't care, or language in 40K means nothing. I was like, take your poison.
And the final rank, which actually is not custodian, custards. What do we call them? What's the banana
Banana
hammocks?
boys.
Banana boys. Are called the Eyes of the Emperor. And this is when a custode is too old or wounded.
They retire, those dumb fucks.
Yeah, they retire because they're no
I
longer
won't
combat
get to.
effective.
What's that?
No,
Said
you're
I
gonna
won't get to.
die
No.
horribly on
the
the
pension
battlefield.
plan is
It's
not
fucked.
there.
So they retire from being a custode and they become an Eye of the Emperor. And this entails that they give back all their gear and they just use their skills and their
Hard bodies.
hard bodies to travel
Basically,
the
they
galaxy.
become traveling monks.
Do you think like
One punching people into submission.
do you think they have like an unlimited amount of resources behind them though? Like if they need something and they're on an imperial
I think they
planet.
have to cultivate their own resources,
Yeah.
actually.
Really?
But it's not like they won't get support. Like
Yeah.
if
But
they
I mean,
request
yeah,
it. It's
and
just
like-
like how
Like,
quick
do they
can
have
you
like a
get there?
seal? Like if you're an inquisitor, you have like an inquisitorial seal to show people people recognize you're a member of this. Is there anything that they can do, or is it literally on their own? Like
It's on their own.
That's,
I think
that's
they might
interesting.
have like a seal or something.
Here's the thing
They
about
answer
that
to
seal.
themselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like who's there to tell? There's no
Yeah,
one.
and
to,
even if they had a seal, it's like, oh, okay, you're really a custodian.
Yeah, no,
I don't
it's-
believe that. Like,
What's
like-
more scary is the
Yeah.
9-foot-tall giant who's
Yeah.
like, "You're doing this for me." You're like, "Yeah, okay."
I think that's more the negotiating
I'm not gonna fight
factor.
this.
Plus, like, they're trained negotiators. Like,
Yeah.
they're as intelligent as they are like good at fighting.
Yeah.
Like these are super geniuses.
They were
know how to,
created to
read
also,
and
like-
manipulate people. Like,
Yeah, part of their thing is like to be smart and be able to like
yeah.
be companions to the emperor. So
yeah. So they're
Yeah,
not-
and he's no idiot.
And,
he
well,
needed philosophers.
yeah.
So, what?
It doesn't work. Emperor being an idiot doesn't work.
No, that's why he needed so many smart people around him.
How would he know what smart is?
Because he could see into the future, so he knew who would be
Well, then
smart.
he is smart.
No, No.
Hey, I took a smart person, I removed half their brain. Turns out they weren't smart all along. They just had a whole brain.
That's not quite a fair comparison, but
yeah,
the
it's
reason
just-
why they travel the galaxy is just to discover any potential threats to Terra and the Emperor, and just to inform the Captain General of any of their findings.
The general captain.
General
He's just
Captain.
He's different than
just
the
a-
captain general.
He's just like he's a general guy.
he's
you
just
know?
a general captain of things.
Yeah. He's not even the custodians.
No, he's not. No, he's just a guy.
Two notes on retirement
Yeah.
for them. Do they age?
So I've read in a couple different places that they are immortal functionally, but like eventually stuff's gonna wear your body down.
Yeah.
So it's like if they just sat there, they would probably be immortal. But like, you know, you're putting so much strain on your body. Eventually you're taking combat wounds. Eventually you're getting
You got to replace an arm
That-
here and there.
And
Yeah.
that plus like the blood games and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's
But
Yeah.
like in their terms, like a guy who's losing his edge at a custodian level is just he's not as good as every other custodian.
yeah.
He definitely can
he's
destroy
still-
anything else on the planet.
But he still retires.
yeah, because he thinks like
Because
even that slight
yeah,
Yeah.
disadvantage might be something an enemy can exploit.
Yeah.
He turns himself and he's like, you know what?
It's not even like they're retiring too. Like they're still
They
fulfilling.
just take a
role.
different role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
they
then
just
with
retire from being a custodian.
that's
Yeah, and
just
then-
what they call it is
Yeah.
retiring.
Yeah.
So.
the flip side too is like injury. Obviously, that could cripple you. Even
Yeah.
with cybernetics, they're actually better than cybernetics. So
Yeah.
it's actually a downgrade when they have to replace a limb with a robot limb or something.
Yeah.
Well, reflexes aren't as fast.
Well, you know, but whatever.
Um,
But just to be clear, like we're not looking at like an old, like withered
No.
custodian who is like,
but if you were to ever
But maybe
find,
one of them
yeah.
was like burnt up by Prometheum.
sure,
or
sure,
something
sure,
Like that.
through injury.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, I
saying
guess,
more.
yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, but
Yes.
also
I'm
if
not
you were
talking
to
like an
ever
old
find
man.
an old withered custody, it would be an Eye of the Emperor. If you were to ever come across one, because he's been one for 8,000 years, and
Yeah.
he's just
or like
maybe
if they
his body
came,
does fail.
Maybe they came in contact with a Harad
Yeah,
and it like entropied them to death, near death.
But I think like them being immortal fits just because isn't it said that if you found what's his face, the first
Constantine Valdor.
Constantine
yeah, because
Valdor.
it said like he's still alive somewhere, right? He's just
that's
a
what the
person of
rumor
exile.
is. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like he could have died like shortly after he went into exile. Takes a step off the front door, gets hit by a bus. We don't know.
I think the bus would just crumple around him and
you seen
everyone
The
else would
Boys?
die.
Like the boys, yeah. Eric?
But
The
I
Boys?
did see
yeah,
the
they're,
boys.
they're
Yeah,
basically
or the truck,
functionally
yeah.
immortal. Like you're gonna have to age them for thousands of years before you notice.
As far as we know, we haven't seen a custode that's so old
There's
they're crippled.
there is examples like there's a rank that we'll talk about a little later called the Warden, and to become a Warden you have to have 500 years of experience. So it's like they can live to, and these are known to be like the most skilled, the best fighters. So even at 500 years old, it's not like their performance has slowed down at all, even at 500. So
Let me tell you, on the tabletop they're not that, but
well,
in the lore
they're
they
good,
are.
but their points are too much for how
they're
much better
they're not
they
very
are.
good. Yeah, but in the lore, yeah, they're supposed to be like I think some of the wardens are the shadow keepers, are the ones that, anyways, they guard like the prison of the emperor.
Yeah.
Like the prison that holds the emperor's greatest threats or something like that.
not?
Monsters
Yeah.
and
they
shit.
should just kill them.
Well, there's
Yeah, I don't know why they don't, but
there are reasons to have those things tucked away.
just in case.
I always like to keep a little dab of Black Plague in a little container at home, just in case. You never
Kids
know
Get out of line.
when you need it. When the
You never
horses
know.
attack, Eric, you guys are all going to take this very seriously.
When the horses
when the
attack.
horses attack.
So that's kind of all their ranks and stuff. They have a bunch of titles too. These are the titles that we could find. I'm sure they have more. They're going to keep adding more. These titles, they're strange. Some of them, I don't know. There's no flow or coherentness to them. There's no ranking to these titles. But here they are. Aquila Commander, Emperor's Headsman, Honored Watchman, and this one's kind of cool because we actually have some information. It signifies that he once served with the Companions. Justice Supreme, Licto. Nothing? Okay, perfect.
What?
Waiting
Just
for a
get-
joke.
Just waiting for Licto.
I don't get it.
Okay. Lock Warden,
Losers.
Master of the Shadow
I
Keepers.
baited them.
They got me. Master Guardian, Proconsul, Shieldsmith, This signifies that the custodian has triumphed in a blood game. Supreme Castellan. So, we don't know what a lot of those are. But
can you add letters to words?
I know.
What did I do?
It's Castellan.
I literally copied and
Proconsul.
pasted that from.
It's your reading. You're reading.
No, yeah.
Oh.
I'm sure it's typed correctly.
Oh.
But you pronounce it Castellian. It's Castellan. And
No,
you
I
said
don't care.
and you said proconsul when it's proconsul.
Yeah, no, I legitimately cannot read. This is not like a joke.
Guys,
this is a cry for
We
help.
have said the word Castellan so many times.
Castellan?
Or Castellan.
No, those are two different things. There's a Castellan robot and a Castellan.
Are they spelled the same?
No, actually, you're right. The Mechanicus one.
Don't
It's with
point.
a K.
Don't point.
That's right.
The other nice thing about Custodes is they have names.
Names. Would you like to join my TM?
Well, that one actually could work.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Isn't that the joke?
Oh, it was a good joke. I had to explain it to myself.
Oh my gosh. And yeah, over the course of career, Custodes will be given many different names, and they're kind of just like titles too, essentially. It's not.
But these are way more
it's not-
personal, right?
Yeah, yeah. But it's not like their names are not like you're now Jimmy Bill John Bo. You know, it's like
You're not? I've
Some
been
might
lied
be.
to this whole time.
yeah.
Gotta go
they're-
home and throw in my whole custody army now. Damn it.
Yeah, they're more like, Trojan, Master of the Fifth Watch, or something like that. Like,
But they, like anyone can become a lock warden, right?
He sounded so exasperated.
No. The distinction between a title and a name is that if you do something, you get if you win a blood game, you get a shieldsmith.
yeah,
And the 9,000 other custodians that also won a blood game, they also have the title shieldsmith.
Yeah.
But if you do something and get a deed, you get this title or this name. And if someone does a deed that is actually quite similar, it does not mean they get the same
Yeah, a
name.
name is-
That's the
it's
difference.
personal,
It's
yeah.
way more personal.
yeah.
It's a
The
personal
Emperor knew the
example.
full name of all 10,000 custodians.
That's a good memory.
That's
Still
yeah.
functionally
Who?
retarded though.
The Emperor.
Yeah, very.
The Emperor knew the full.
Who had the most names?
Well,
Probably.
Constantine Valdor.
That's
he
right.
earned
But do you know how many he had?
1,932, and he holds the record. I think Trojan Valerie is getting close,
Oh, he's a beast.
but he's still
On
not
one of the
quite-
wiki, I don't know, I didn't read the, I don't know how accurate this is, but one of the wikis is like Trajan's only downside is how aggressive he is, but in the same sentence they're like, but that's actually also one of his greatest strengths. And it's just like, oh, okay.
How do you know stuff like that, Mark?
What?
What, the numbers?
Yeah.
Mark's mind is like a special
Idiot
tool.
savant.
Yeah.
I can't read, but I know.
I wouldn't even count it as idiot savant.
Just idiot.
Because it doesn't actually give you any kind of benefit in the
Just
world.
memorize
Yes, it does. I
Warhammer
run a
facts.
successful podcast. Look at the benefit.
That's debatable.
I'm the new
Look at me.
VP
Look at me.
of
Of not motivation, I can tell you that much.
no, just of whatever we're gonna
Marketing.
Call.
We got a better marketing team than
Criticizing.
Games Workshop.
Bitching even.
We have a more consistent marketing team than Games Workshop.
Don't get me started on their marketing team.
That's become the new Matt Ward, the marketing team.
The goddamn marketing team.
If there ever was like a scapegoat for
GW, yeah.
for GW, like it was Matt Ward,
now it's
and now it's the marketing team.
Yeah,
The marketing
marketing
team, or the lack of communication between marketing team and everyone else in the company.
Because
We
it's
gotta
the marketing
find
team's
out-
fault.
No, we
They're the
gotta
ones
find
dropping
out
the ball
who
with
their
communication.
internet provider is, or like who provides their company like cell phone service, and then we'll blame them for the breakdown of
It's
communication.
probably like the one angry IT guy in the company who's getting underpaid, and he just blocks all the emails going between the marketing team and everyone else.
I'm
Never-
okay with that.
got him.
IT really holds all the power. Never forget that. They're the custodians of real life.
They're the
Listen to
gatekeepers of
Christians.
emails.
Listen to Christian's bonus episode, why IT is as dangerous as being a custodian.
Just below the list of horses to.
Yes.
We're gonna need IT when the horses revolt. Let me tell you.
But after the horses are dead, we won't need IT.
no, and
No,
they're the
and
next
that-
biggest threat. They need to be.
They're the
eliminated.
Thunder Warriors.
So up next,
Brutal
we got
savages and berserkers.
Who are not needed once the horses are eliminated. A clean slate, a new level of IT must be created afterwards.
One capable of carrying the torch of my great ideals. All right.
So let's talk about the next little organization thing. They will organize themselves into shield companies. And a shield company is a group of custodes that is handpicked by the leading shield captain to go to war. They're usually... What's that face always about?
No, because I had asked you about
You just
Valdor's-
read it, didn't you?
I did. I just read it.
What?
So I had asked you like, like who has the highest record and how many is it? And
thought
you
you
got
were-
those right. I was on the Lexicanum page, so I wasn't following along in the notes, and I flip back to the notes, and I literally see Valdor has earned 1,932, holds the record. God damn it! Sometimes I screw myself over. You know.
So the shield captains handpick who are going to be on their shield companies, and there's usually around 30 to 40 custodes, but this is not exact number. It will change. It could be less, could be more. Then they will name the shield company, and sometimes they'll even paint their armor differently.
How much differently?
Like some will be pink, some will be white, some will be black. Like
Really?
they'll
You
paint.
can
I
have
don't
that
know
much
about
variety.
pink, but there is white and black.
Yeah,
Like head to toe, you're talking, not just like
Yeah,
some
like
color
they
shoulder pad.
changed the gold
yeah,
on their armor.
or and the black to, or the red to whatever they want.
Really?
Yeah, they'll change.
That's
it
kind
up.
of cool. I didn't know about that.
They can basically do
The
whatever they
reason
want.
what's
I don't
nice is that
personally like
it's
it.
so you can paint your
You do.
custodians.
That's
whatever.
exactly
that's why
why.
they did it.
And
I
don't
don't
like
agree
that.
with it either.
Yeah, I think it's dumb.
it's,
It's like-
it's too much of a stretch.
Yeah, it's like painting ultramarines green. It's like, well, no, they're blue. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if you want to paint them green. They're
Government.
fucking blue.
I think.
Tell that to James.
Well, I.
James.
calling you
Yeah,
out.
yeah, it's kind of silly. I think the difference was like, yeah, it's you can paint it, but also it's like the Shadow Keepers are like the jailers of
Yeah.
the Emperor's personal cell. So like they're supposed to be like set apart. So they get a different set of armor. It's like the same armor, just like different colors and different gems and set in it and stuff.
Yeah. Like, it's not the worst for very specific things. Like, if the companions as well, if they had
Yeah.
different colors, I could get behind that. But it's just, like,
But
literally
yeah,
anyone
for
can
it to
make a
be
shield
like a shield
company.
host or shield company to be like, yeah, we're just doing this. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And they'll come up with their own name, which that's fine. The name's part's fine. But the color, a little bit of a stretch. But yeah, up next we have shield hosts, which are just multiple shield companies that gather together. And then each shield captain from the shield company will then join together on a conclave and create, like...
So they just kind of create
council.
like a group of tacticians
Yeah.
and generals. Cool.
Unless CG leads on because he can lead shield hosts, I think. And if he leads it, he just leads it. And so it's just
It makes sense that whatever
his
he
jam.
steps in is his.
is his, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe. Because I think Valoris has led a shield host a couple times himself to like fight stuff.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh yeah, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So another unique organization is the Companions, and this is a group of 300 custodes who personally stand in the throne room of the Emperor, never leaving his side. While they are allowed some brief moments of relaxation and rest, they will stand in rows, ready for battle, not moving, not speaking for days, months. They don't give a number, but it's a long time that they will just stand there ready, waiting, not moving. But this is incredibly taxing role, even for the custodes, because like they'll do it for like months of just literally standing there,
Or years.
years potentially even. Like I would imagine though they have to eat at some point.
They say they allow brief moments of rest.
Yes,
So it might not necessarily like they might have a brief moment of rest every 5 months.
exactly.
You don't know.
We don't know the numbers, but like
Sorry.
we know that it's to such length that like the most physical specimens ever
I have a hard time doing it.
have a hard time doing it. And,
Sounds like they should just bring food into that chamber and let them sit down and eat lunch. Is that just me?
Have like a
or-
buffet. A buffet.
Yeah.
nice like pancake breakfast every
Yeah.
once in a while.
Give them a nice sausage.
The companions, however, like it's incredibly taxing, so they will like rotate out when they feel like they can no longer like fulfill this role. Because even just like mentally just standing there for years, not
Yeah.
speaking, not moving.
Why don't they
Staring at
speak?
your emperor that is now
because it's like a
husk of what he
sacred
used to
place and a solemn.
Do you think they
guard.
they face him or they face away from him?
I think they face away.
They
because
have to
need-
face away.
So
So
like
the
the-
only entrance, I would imagine.
Yeah, the idea
Yeah.
of it is that they're literally protecting him.
Yeah.
So you're not going to look at your target. You're going to look outwards, and they also have to be alert. They treat it as if like they're not like
Yeah,
just
like it says
daydreaming.
that they're battle ready.
Yeah, like they're ready to go the minute anything breaches through that wall. Good luck to anything trying to get in there.
Like nothing's got in yet. Although we can talk about this at the end, but there are some dumb things that have happened to the custodians that I don't agree with.
Oh yeah, there are, and we have a list, so you can add to the list.
Oh yeah. The longest watch served was 100 years, and at that point, he's like, "I'm out.
I'm done.
Fuck
Fuck this.
Takes off his helmet, drops it on
But,
the ground, and walks away.
I'm retiring. This is bullshit.
The one nice thing is like this isn't like they don't view it as like a dishonor.
Yeah, it's held in high esteem.
It's the highest.
Like and even like to drop out. I mean, they don't hold it as a dishonor.
Yeah.
Like it because they want the
Well,
best people
yeah,
in there.
I don't
so
even
it's like
think-
if you don't think you're ready to do this,
Yeah.
get out of there. Let somebody
Yeah.
else do it. Like it's not a dishonor.
It's better to know your limit
Yeah.
than to try
And
and,
stay within it,
exceed
yes.
your
Yeah.
limit.
I assume that would be the same with like retiring, like their
Yeah.
retirement or whatever. As
Yeah,
well,
we kind of
where
talked
it's
about
like,
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's not a dishonor. They're just I'm not fit to do this anymore. It's
Yeah.
a disservice for me to be with you.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
almost like the guards of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in the U.S. 24/7, 365. Like the pavement has like they walk the same steps and everything. It's pretty crazy. You should look into it.
Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
If I care.
The Winter Soldier?
Yeah,
That's our
let's go with that.
countdown.
Maybe if we had a Marvel spin, you'll look into it. No, it's pretty wild. Just, just look into it.
Cool. Let's talk about that. That's kind of that stuff. Let's talk about their unit types. I did leave out a lot of their 30K specific stuff. Like they have, what's like their 30K Terminators called?
they're now in 40K, but they're like
They are, yeah.
Oh, I don't even remember. It starts with an A.
Hilarious.
Alaris is their 40K
regular?
Terminators. It's like
Yeah.
Agnes?
So I left out a lot of their 30K
30K?
counterparts. We'll talk about it at the very end why I did such a thing, because it's all about what I want to do in this.
'cause-
Alaris and Aquilon are the two.
Yeah.
But here are the 40K ones. So we'll start with the lowest and we'll kind of work our way up. Custode Guard. This is just your standard custode wielding Guardian
Standard
Spear.
banana boy with the abs.
Yeah. A Guardian Spear, which is a spear, like a power spear with a built-in
Ooh,
bolter.
actually, fun fact.
Yeah.
When custodians are trained, they're trained to use every weapon,
Yeah.
and then they just get to choose.
Oh, okay.
So they all
What do
pick
like?
the spear.
So they all pick the spear.
Wait,
or
you
the
say any-
sword.
when you say any
or-
weapon, you mean like also like power mauls
Yeah.
and power swords.
Yeah, they get trained with everything.
Combat blades.
I'm pretty
Storm
sure they get
bolters.
changed. They get trained with every weapon,
Las
and then they
guns.
choose.
Are they
Why
good
not?
enough to wield a katana though?
No, they're
No.
not samurai.
Yeah, they are not.
They're set
They're
below.
not trained in the way of the blade.
They're not. They're not. They do not have that level of honor.
Anyone who's not a samurai who even tries to wield a katana will most likely kill themselves.
Much like
I've
the
been
Jedi
told.
in Star Wars. They also cannot wield a lightsaber for the same reason,
Yes.
Well, they don't have the reflexes
or the
for it.
Force sensitivity,
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So they all pick the spear.
or the sword.
Spears are the best like weapon. Like if you're talking, like if they're simple.
The spear, or like they
Well,
also
yeah, okay, versatility.
are seen with
Yeah, like
not
yeah.
as common, but they also have like the sword and shield is
Sword and
also
shield.
pretty.
Well, and so
Or
those
just the
are
bolt
those
guns?
guys are called Sentinel Guard, and those are the guys equipped with shield and sword, and they're specifically used in like defensive formations to protect certain assets.
And then they also are some guys. This is 30K. I don't actually know how lorically accurate it is, but on tabletop they have Solarite gauntlets, which are just like power fists, but
Oh,
bigger.
I want to see that actually.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Then we have the how would you say that Sagittarium Guard?
Sagittarium.
Sure.
They're like
yeah, and
bolter boys.
essentially.
Yeah, they use like guns. They're like trained for like long range kind of fighting.
Yeah.
And what you mean to say by that is they prefer long range.
They prefer long range fighting. Yep.
Yeah, but they're not just wielding like the standard bolter. Like
No,
they're
No, it's a bolt gun, but it's better.
But it's
Yeah.
better. Yeah. I think it's called like a
Naturally.
Lastrum bolt rifle or something like that.
yeah.
Do they also carry like special weapons, like plasma or meltas?
They do carry two other types of weapons. I forget what they were.
Yeah, because even with the Guardian Spears, you can have like a melta instead
Yep.
of the bolt gun attachment.
Yeah.
I don't know if that
There's
constitutes
three-
a new guard type.
There's
but-
3 different spear options,
Yeah,
I think, and then there's it'd be a couple different types of.
yeah. So there's
Gun
even
options, I'm
variation
sure.
within
Yeah.
the equipment.
So the 3 they are most typically equipped with Adrastus bolt calivers, Adrathic Destructors and Meltabombs are like the three weapons you'll typically find them.
Sure. I don't know what that second one is, but
Adrathic
Dismemberer.
Destructors. It's a disintegration weapon. Relics dating back to the Dark Age of technology.
That's fun.
Yeah, some of this is like, it gets a little hinky because I think GW is trying to bring some like the 30k stuff into 40k where it wasn't previously.
You just have to work it in somehow.
Yes, like the Sagittarium Guard used to be like a 30k unit, and then obviously they got brought into 40k. So it's kind of like,
were they a 30k unit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like, so it's kind of like a little hinky, like where, like, are the Sagittarium like, do they do active things in 40k? Like, it's not. At least I haven't really read a ton about it lately, so I don't really know. But yeah.
Well, cool. Up next, we got the Veritas Praetor. These are custodes who ride jet bikes wielding a power lance, capable of delivering devastating charges anywhere on the battlefield.
But here's the question.
Great.
Do they know the perfect time to strike?
No, they're not Eldar.
That's right.
They do. It's always.
It is with them. It doesn't matter. You charge them into anything. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It was the perfect time.
Yeah. We then got the Custodian Venetari. And these are custodes that are equipped with jump packs and mid-ranged weapons.
They have pistols.
Oh,
they have a variety of weapons as well, right? Like
I think
like
some of them have like a lance as well.
Yeah, they have like a lance too. Well, it's more like a spear. I think it's called like a lance, but it's more like the kind of classic Guardian spear, but or like pistols, bucklers.
And our Guardian spears really just halberds? Questions that need answering.
They really are actually. But well, whatever.
Yeah.
Would you ever ask a custodian that? Would you ever ask the 9 foot tall man in gold armor, like, so your spear is more of a halberd? Like, do you wanna?
What are your thoughts on this?
He just give you a closer look with it, the blade through your face.
Then we have custodian wardens, and I was saying before, wardens have at least 500 years of experience. And what's unique about them is like they're just so determined. They're so set in their ways. They're like me. They just won't die. They won't
compare
shut
yourself
up.
to a custodes.
They don't know how to read.
They're like me. No, they're like me in one way.
They don't know how to read.
No. The determination and
Utter resolve
to be who they are.
Headstrong.
Yeah. And they're shrug off wounds that most custodes would succumb to because they're like, my vow isn't done.
Yeah.
They're just stubborn old men.
Are they the ones that guard the vaults or no? Is that them?
No.
They like so I think, well, not, they don't just do that. So like wardens sometimes also, like what some wardens will do is they'll go out and they will capture like Chaos Space Marines and just like enemies and bring them to the Terra, to the palace, and release them for the other custodians to like practice on in the palace. So like they have a variety of reasons, but some of the wardens do guard like the vaults. Yeah.
So an interesting thing is that when they become a warden, they swear oaths that they've been meditating on for a full year. So they like sit and they write these oaths.
So really they only have 499 years of combat experience.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Fucking
Well,
No. This is before becoming a warden, right?
Yeah, this is before
you're not
becoming
a
a
warden
warden.
until after.
I feel like that's such a small thing for them. Like
What
a
is?
year of meditation. Like if you
to
live,
meditate and write your oaths. So here's the interesting thing though. Like once you've written your oath, because every single warden's oaths are unique and personal.
I'm sure a lot of them are like, don't let the emperor die today.
today though, only today.
starting now.
The like
I had my fingers crossed before.
it sounds like they like won't ever step down from being a warden until like their like oaths are complete or finished, and then it's like if you to ever break your vow or your oath, it's like worse than death.
I think everything's worse.
Yeah,
for death
everything
than
is
that.
worse than death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have Alarius custodians. Alaris. And these are custodes that wear Terminator armor. Each one is handpicked by a captain general for their skill. and they just do typical Terminator stuff.
Valoris was an Alaris Terminator before he became the Captain General.
That would make sense. Yeah, like these are the best
They're like
of
the best of the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we got the Vexilis Praetor.
They hold the shiny stick.
Yeah. The one thing I learned about the shiny stick when reading this was it's actually like a technological wonder. Like it's got built in a bunch of like different uses. Like because they on tabletop they have -1, and you always made the joke like they're so shiny, but really it's because they're putting out like data feeds and stuff and like messing up scanners and like I didn't know that. This is what I'm saying.
They're really shiny.
And they're really shiny.
Really shiny.
Really fucking shiny. But yeah, like they're these giant banner poles, and they're not made out of cloth. They're more made of like think like a Roman.
It's a vexillum, yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally what they just stole it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Except the funny thing. No, I'll save it for something else.
Oh my god.
Sounds pretty funny to me.
Vehicles. The Custodes have a bunch of vehicles. Most of the vehicles are grav tech. And
oh my gosh, they had hover rhinos for a while, which is amazing.
And hover land raiders too.
Yep.
Yeah.
They just like, hey, we can add hover to anything and make this better. Suck it. Suck it, Space Marines.
Yeah, a lot of their vehicles are like that. So
Yeah.
their vehicles, you can picture they have troop transports. They got battle tanks. So the main thing is they're all hover. And they're very sleek looking too. Like they're very rounded.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Have they probably haven't changed much since 30K.
No. In fact, I don't even think they build new vehicles. I think the vehicles they have are just like holdover from 30K. Like, so
if you shoot one down, that's it?
That's it.
It's gone?
It's gone. I'm sure they like acquire new things, but like it wouldn't be the same vehicle, right?
They also use other things like land raiders.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
stuff too,
Yeah, they
so-
use the
which are being built and can still be manufactured.
Yeah. And the final thing is they also have their own fleet as well.
They also have their own dreadnoughts too.
Oh yeah, they got dreadnoughts.
They got dreadnoughts up the ass.
Typically, like the Eyes of the Emperor will either become an Eyes of the Emperor or they will join a dreadnought.
Yeah. Like if you're pretty wounded, you're like, put me in a sarcophagus.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Depends if you've got
Chop me up, I'm done.
I'm done. Just flame me, it's fine, whatever. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, they have their own fleet to do whatever they want, and I'm sure it's a huge fleet. They had a bunch of listed ships and stuff, but
Mark didn't care to read it.
nah, it's a bunch of words.
Who cares?
Yeah.
What are words?
Made up things.
Yeah.
It's all made up.
Yeah. Let's talk about their creation and training.
Oh, I might have already touched on this.
Yeah, a little bit. It's all good.
That's my bad. I did not read ahead.
No, that's fine. I don't care. Does anyone else want to read one? I feel like I've read every line, and normally that's not a good move to let the guy who can't read
Sometimes it's odd reading someone else's notes.
Eric doesn't like it.
Like,
He's lost control.
Is that how everyone feels when they read the notes?
We all are
read
pissed off
right?
at you because your notes are just garbage, and we're just like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know what
how
he's
I
trying to
The
feel.
say.
only consistent thing is I've done every note.
Is it actually called the Avenue of Sacrifice?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Wow. That just sounds like a place you could like legitimately live. Like, where do you live? Where do you live? Oh, like 155 Avenue of Sacrifice.
Yeah. Just past the Boulevard of Blood.
Yeah.
I live on the Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
All right. He's got his emo haircut.
Ooh.
So we'll start with recruitment. Potential candidates for custodes are presented before the Avenue of Sacrifice outside the Ascension Gate on the Imperial Palace.
You want to read that name again?
The Avenue of Sacrifice?
Censors.
Is it Ascensors or Ascension?
Whatever's written is what it is.
Okay. Well, it's not Ascension then.
No. It's a word. A. There's a W in there.
There's no W, but go on.
But that's not the only way. Like, so noble families will often take their children to like
Offer them up.
yeah. But
Or they'll kidnap people too.
Yeah,
They
Could
don't
you
care.
imagine being so gutsy? Like, my child is not only could easily become a space marine, he's going to become a custodian.
fuck, I know people like that.
Right?
Fucking
Fucking
people.
Christian.
No, Christian does not love his children. Christian's always
Is
trying
that-
to hide from his
You,
children.
I feel like you would have to love the emperor more than you love your children to do that. Because
That's
at
not
that
asking
point,
much though.
yeah, well,
In fact, that's what we ask every citizen.
Nathan, is there something you want to tell us?
Tell us your sins, Nathan.
well, I play Thousand Suns. I dabble in the warp.
Heresies.
While we don't know the exact process and transformations that take place to become a custode, we do know that they are recruited at a very young age, usually under 5, and they are changed on like a cellular level. And they also always toss around like the word like biochemical alchemy.
Alchemy?
Alchemy, yeah.
Alchemy. A mixture between chemistry and alchemy. It's
Alchemy.
pretty much the same thing, but one's magic. Go on.
Yeah, and they always like throw that around. Like we don't know exactly how it happens. The one thing that people often think is like they're just Space Marines on steroids.
Yeah, they're
steroids.
upgraded Space
But they're
Marines.
not. They're completely different. Where Space Marines have gene seed and gene seed implants, Custodes do not. Like Custodes do not have the ability to spit acid or
They can't eat their brains and gain their memories.
exactly.
Yeah.
They don't have any of those.
Do they
genes.
have the black carapace?
They would, but
Does
it
it
might
say,
be called something different.
But is it even said, though? Do you
No,
know
it's
that?
not.
You don't know that.
You just would assume that like
But their armor is also something different, too. So
it might be able to
Right.
interface
So
better.
I'm just
But
saying,
yeah,
we don't know.
We don't know. But you would assume.
But one thing
you
we
can't.
do know is that they're not Space Marines
Yeah.
or any variant of Space Marine or improvement
No.
on Space Marines.
Yeah.
They are completely different.
They're
beasts.
they're their own thing.
Yeah. Their training too, like Nathan was said, they train with every type of weapon. Like, just think of
And
how
games.
It's
war.
totally going to get Diplomacy,
added on that.
geography, history.
Yeah, like-
countless
it's not
other
just,
fields.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
just war.
Oh yeah, no,
Um,
they're trained in like everything from
Sneak
it's
to destruction
sneak.
spells.
Speechcraft is 100.
Witchcraft is 100. Yeah.
they master the summoning spells needed to bring the emperor's spirit back to his body,
But then they don't use it.
but then they don't use it
No, that would be
because that'd be heresy. Yeah, they just need to know that knowledge.
Actually, it should be noted that just because as we joke, but like they're outside of like the church and everything too. Obviously, I know it's pretty obvious, but I think it just needs to be said.
Yeah, like
Like,
I
they
think
don't have the same holdover views that everyone else about
Yeah.
heresy and technology.
Oh no, yeah, they don't think the emperor is a god at all.
Yeah, and they like don't look at technology in the same way that
No.
like the Mechanicum looks at technology. They
Yeah.
are completely
Yeah.
different in how they view
Pure.
the world.
Yeah. One of the training things that we do know about though, it's called the blood games, and this is usually done after they're already a custode. And
It's to keep their skills sharp.
sharp.
That doesn't just involve releasing random things into the
Which is
That's another training exercise.
that is the other
yeah.
thing they do too. Is they do you're right. They release all kinds of monstrosities into the palace to
palace.
make sure that they can still keep an edge.
But what the blood game is they will take a custode and they'll take away all his weapons, all his war gear, and they will release him somewhere in the solar system. It's the Sol system, or is it specifically on Terra?
I don't remember.
I thought it was
I
just
think it's the soul system.
yeah, that's what I thought too. And their goal is they have to make their way to Terra to the Emperor's throne room.
Yeah.
Yeah, they take the role of an assassin trying to kill the emperor.
Yeah. So and like along the way they'll kill anyone that they can if that is how they get to the
They
next
can do
step.
different methods, right?
Yes.
One can be completely stealth, never be seen or heard from again until he shows up, boom, right outside the doors. Another one can just murder his way right straight line straight through, and
Yeah.
anything in between.
Yeah.
Trajan Valoris has successfully run the blood games 3 times.
Oof.
And by
he's made
success, it means you've gotten within striking distance, or actually have simulatedly killed the emperor.
I don't know.
I think
which one.
striking distance.
Probably
is-
Yeah.
striking distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget who the one is in the Horse Heresy books that you actually follow his journey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a
But
cool little story.
he gets within striking distance of the emperor too, and obviously, like this was back when the emperor was alive, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, like before he could move around.
Yeah,
right?
now it's
they're
like-
hunting him.
Now it's like you're pretty sure you know.
You know where it is, but now you have to breach all the defenses,
Yeah.
and that also makes sure the defenders are on their A game, training on how to block every possible
Yeah.
en route, every blind spot. Because if a guy makes it, that was a blind spot. So then they go everything they can do
Yeah.
to fix that blind
So
spot.
every game gets harder and harder then.
Yeah, theoretically. Unless one guy knows like the secret hiding spot that no one else knows about. And
It just never
refuses to
tells
tell. All right, I'm going on the blood games. Like hides in the closet.
Like, doesn't even leave the.
Damn it, Jim!
You won again.
You won again, you rat bastard! He's like sitting behind the throne the entire time, like suckers.
It's the greatest game of hide and seek the Galaxy's ever played.
Yeah.
Something before we continue, because I didn't do these notes. I'm kind of just like reading Lexicanum.
Sure. First, you're going to shirk off responsibility. Okay.
What's
the accusation?
7th edition Adeptus Custodes Codex. This seemed to firmly establish that the Custodes were created from the flesh and blood of the Emperor himself.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
Could be.
What do you mean could be? Is.
So like they don't have gene seed because the Emperor
Yeah.
didn't give them his gene seed, but
Yeah.
they are like whatever made the Emperor stronger genetically, like they're
given a
also
portion
giving
of
that
Yeah.
to the Custodes.
Yeah.
So they're not technically crafting something new. They're making them as good as technically the Emperor should have been, which is kind of interesting to think of. Like they lack
Yeah.
his psychic ability, but
Yeah.
to think that just physically, like you could be a match for the Emperor is an
Yeah.
interesting thought.
That's also different, though.
I said could. I'm not saying they are.
I mean,
Saying if the
They're-
attempt is to make them as much like him
Yeah.
as possible,
Yeah.
But
which
even-
is interesting.
even in
using his particular,
Like, we don't know enough about the Emperor to make any definitive statements because, like, for all you know, the Emperor's true form is like a shriveled old man who looks like 800 years old and is like 3 feet tall.
And he's only
And he just
strong
projects the image, and his body's only strong because it's psychically enhanced, right?
there's even a story of
Wouldn't he be blocked though anytime his Sister of Silence is next to him?
He could be so powerful he just overpowers,
So blanks
Those
technically
blanks.
aren't.
or like it's a dead
Perfect.
zone. I don't know. I've never had an Emperor blank. Like he has a whole sisterhood.
we need an answer,
The
Christian.
Sisters of Silence. I don't have an answer for you.
We need one.
All right, give me 6 hours and a Google engine.
Google
I'll come
engine.
up with one for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
But they do have like
Yeah, they have
there's
the Emperor's own blood or whatever substance it could be.
there's a template they're trying to reach,
Yeah.
and they're trying to reach the Emperor's template, which is interesting.
Yeah.
To think of.
For sure. And that kind of plays into what's next, their abilities. They're large, they're fast, they're tough, they're highly intelligent, and they're functionally immortal.
Just like the Emperor would be.
you build it stronger, faster.
Yeah.
We have the technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're not psychers. None of them are psychers. There's
None
I
of
don't
them.
think there's ever
and
been an
no
example.
psychic potential.
No.
Hmm.
Or at least if they do, it's like squashed out during
Is it?
They
process.
just might
The
not
process
use
of
that,
creating
that
one.
recruit even. Like,
yeah,
if
they might not.
Yeah, just
just kill
eliminated
them.
in the process. Is there also
Well, not
Hand
kill
him
him.
over to the Grey Knights.
back
Yeah, hand them to somebody else, definitely.
back
but-
to recruitment too? The process kills people, right?
Oh, yeah. This is not a safe journey.
No,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
It kills lots of people.
Yeah.
Every year. Start like a foundation for it. Every year, hundreds of children end up dead on Terra.
For a small amount of money, you can provide.
You could prevent these children from being abducted.
Provide funeral plots, I guess. That's really all you can do.
They're not going to listen to you.
Yeah. Yeah, like they really don't have like any crazy abilities beyond like just being like what we said. Like they don't like Space Marines. They can spit acid. That's a crazy ability. The Custodes, they don't have any like abilities like that where they can shoot lasers. Here Eric goes.
No,
Now he's
it's just-
reading
I'm
about
just
gene
reading it.
seed and
No, it's not gene seed.
Oh.
It's the cellular alchemy aspect.
Oh, yeah.
They can shoot lasers from their eyes.
So they
I
tried.
read it. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
on page
yeah,
36 of...
So in their
Hey,
attempt to recreate like the Emperor in like these mortals, it says like sometimes like strange supernatural things manifest around these warriors, and like bullets and bolts are turned aside at the last moment. Blades fail to strike home. Psychic powers suddenly flicker away. Like some of them literally are covered in like a sublime halo in like moments of glory. Like
Well,
maybe
there's-
not psychic.
There's an easy way to explain this. The Emperor
Propping.
protects.
But that's is it literally like his, like are they building trying to build what the Emperor is in their body, and that's kind of offering a protection? Like I'm not
Yeah, or
not
is it like
confirming
a-
that they're psychic by any means.
Yeah, but-
is there something happening that even they don't understand or
They
can't control.
They understand
at some point.
everything. And they can control everything.
Because
They do control everything.
They do.
no,
control
I'm curious
everything.
if that could be like part of being a custody is like strange,
Some
unexplained
supernatural-
things, and you would obviously give that to the emperor and say like, yeah, like we are protected, like things happen to us that don't happen to anyone else. But is it because they have some aspect of him?
So
within them?
here's a good thought comparison. The Sisters of Battle, they're not psychers. They abhor witches, yet they have what are called like acts of faith, where they're basically
perform supernatural feats that you could attribute to psychic ability, but
it's
like
not
there's no
them.
psyker there.
Yeah.
So where does it come from?
So it could be a very similar thing.
Does the emperor really hear them? Does he really?
Yeah,
be
also
summoned?
could be
the
Or
emperor
saints?
could literally just be manifesting protection
Yeah.
at key moments.
Or what if it's like kind of like an orc style where enough humans believe that the custodians
Yeah,
are like
it creates a
basically
just
God?
law.
That,
Yeah.
It could be
that they're
'cause-
like, that they're so powerful that it's like every once in a while they can manifest.
yeah.
in the lexicon, they do seem to state that it probably comes from like this cellular alchemy aspect of it. Whereas I'm assuming in Sisters of Battle they do probably say it is like an act of fate, like the emperor, like just how his tarot cards are tied to the emperor. There are those.
He said fate and not faith.
I know. Let's call him out for
Sorry,
it.
acts of fate.
Let's make fun of him repeatedly. Never stop. You'll never outlive
That's
this moment.
right. This
Eric.
is the last.
Your
one.
shame shall be eternal.
Your kids will know about this moment.
That's okay. You'll never be on another episode.
It's okay. You're never gonna have any kids. Oh,
We're getting
What
really
are you
personal
doing to
here.
him?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
you serve him up. I strike him back. Come on, give me another one. No, don't. I'm out of wit. I'm at wit's end. I just depleted my wit.
Was that wit? You're never gonna have kids. Wit.
all right. Sorry, I'm learning too on this one. It's interesting. What's the next thing we're talking about? War gear?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So there's a lot of themes that get carried through the Astartes war gear. We're not going to talk about every individual weapon that they use. They use a lot of the same technology that Astartes use.
That's
like,
the only reason I wanted to be on this episode. I just want to talk about bolt guns.
but yeah, like they use bolter technology. They also use power armor.
Theirs is just better.
Yeah, they use what's it called?
Aramite.
Aramite instead of ceramite. But everything's just an upscaled, better version. But the one common theme that carries across is it seems like every weapon they have is dual purpose. So their spear is also a gun. Their sword is also a gun.
Their shield, also a gun.
Also,
Is it
Their
actual?
gun, also a gun.
exactly. But yeah,
Their
like,
armor also has guns.
but yeah, like that
Yeah.
carries across like every melee weapon they have. They have some type of gun attached to it.
That's not a bad strategy.
In the books, they'd never really. Well, I shouldn't say it. They did shoot them, but most of the time they would stab something and then shoot it.
To dislodge it from the spear.
Of course, yes. It was great. Once in a while, you just be like, "Oh, okay." Don't use the gun to shoot things; just use it to stab in a bit of a shooting motion after.
That's funny. The other notable thing that they have is they have jet bikes. And while this was a little more common in 30k, like even Astartes legions had access to jet bikes, in 40k, they're the only ones who have jet bike tech. Except for everyone's going to now email saying, "Oh, but what about the Dark Angel guy, Samuel? There's one other jet bike. But other than that,
Also, oh no, yeah, he's the only one with the jet bike. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I think the AdMac have some jet propulsion
There's-
technology
I
now,
mean,
don't they?
it's different than a jet bike, though.
Yeah, jet bikes are very
Sure.
specific.
Yeah, it's
But
harder
even
to-
that might get retconned. I'm pretty sure they're going to introduce some Primaris jet bikes. But who knows?
But as
Yeah.
of right now,
As of
right now,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is they use a lot of grav technology, like we were talking about their tanks.
They just turn everything into grav.
yeah,
Everything is
all their
nav.
They
technology
need
is a lot
grav
more
dreadnoughts.
that would be hilarious.
Yeah, that's
They're like the Protoss Templars.
advanced.
I have returned.
So that's kind of get an idea of their war gear. Like everything's finally made. Yeah.
It's basically whatever they want.
Is there any like very cool war gear that comes to your mind that's like?
I love the rope. So wow, I don't actually know. much about it other than like what it looks like on tabletop. But the jetpack guys have like revolvers as their gun.
Ah, yeah.
And then they got like bucklers. Looks really cool. It's not very good, but
Doesn't seem very good.
The
A revolver and a buckler.
yeah. And they're not. They're pretty bad. So it makes sense. But
Yeah.
You get 6 shots.
you get 6 shots.
That's all they need. That's 18 people dead.
Yeah, you give
Sure.
them 1 shot.
Well, when you're
That's what
fighting
they
an
need.
army of orcs,
That's it. They only need 18.
And you
well, it just
buckler
like
them to
shoots
death.
through multiple people,
Yeah.
just nonstop, creates like a hurricane wind.
They
behind it.
do some like shot curving where it's like curving
Wanted,
around.
just killing every orc.
Yeah. Of course.
It's what's it called? Kinetic destroyer.
Yeah,
Is that the one you're
that's
thinking
it.
of?
Aren't all guns kinetic destroyers? If you think about it.
They are
All
master
bullets.
crafted archaeotech pistols. Micro-atomic munitions or searing kill rays that draw power from a planet's magnetosphere.
Ah, yes, of course. Of
Naturally.
course.
Cool. Yes.
Are
Why
they,
not?
Are they useless in space then?
I don't know.
Probably
Maybe they have like a storage pack somewhere that just recharges anytime
the
you're
backpack.
in a planet.
Their jump pack also stores their ammo.
They
Can burn
create a small magnetic field around themselves and they're never...
That's why they never touch the ground.
That's right.
They can always
Ooh.
reach their dreams.
They don't fly. They don't fly through any power or propulsion. It's just all magnetics.
It's all faith in the emperor.
It's all alchemy.
Can be. So up next, we'll talk about their main headquarters, which is called the Tower of Hegemon. It's located deep within the Imperial Palace on Terra, and it's full of data feeds, security measures, training bays. I'm sure like their apothecary equivalents are there, like where they actually
whoever actually makes
Chirurarchs or
Yeah.
what are they? How do you say that?
Chirurgeons.
While you're looking that up,
Yeah.
in the Emperor of Mankind, the book, it's kind of interesting. One of the custodians is watching like I think it's like 4 or 6 screens at once, and
Yeah.
you can like easily tell what's like going on in all of them.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Like they're that much better at even just like this basic task
Yeah.
of like sifting through information, where they can just
Yeah,
like,
they can like spot a thread on like a
Yeah.
one camera, like out of 100, where like one guy's
They
acting
can
weird.
magnify the camera without even having
Enhance.
to like they're doing it with their own eyes.
and even the what is it? The resolution
pixels?
keeps like getting
Yeah.
better.
With their own eyes, yeah.
They do the 3D model inside the camera.
But apparently this is a continent-sized fortress.
I think
obvious.
no, hold on.
They
I
could be
think you
talking about
misread
the
that. I think the Imperial
Yeah, the
Palace
The Imperial Palace, yeah.
is a continent-sized fortress. They are within that.
This
But it also like goes up and down. So is it
Yeah.
like 5 continents stacked on top of each other?
I mean, how big is a do you count? Like how deep?
Asia,
Do you count? How deep do you go in a continent though?
I go deep.
1 mile.
Right. So that's not actually that deep on like the Earth's crust.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying they're going all the way down. There's like
Like
7,
to the core of the Earth.
No way. They can't mine the core or else the planet will collapse. Come on, you've seen Superman.
Dummy.
It's also occupied and run mainly by serfs who serve the custodes for life, and they're adorned in bones, the bones of their ancestors,
yeah.
who serve as serfs before them.
So they're allowed to procreate. Or do they just toss 2 together and they're like, make a baby?
Make a baby. Surf. Do your surf thing. Die after so I can give your bones to your children.
You gotta wonder how
Although-
that started and why.
I feel like if I was going to live in the 40K world, being a serf to a custodian be like not the worst. Like you're pretty safe.
Pretty good job, yeah.
Yeah.
And if they
yeah,
trust you, even
as a
to-
gay man oiling the custode,
Oiling the
that would be
yeah.
just the dream.
Yeah.
Why would you not want that fate?
What if you don't like bears? Or no, those technically wouldn't be bears.
They wouldn't be bears. They're not hairy.
Yeah.
They're otters.
I don't think they're otters either.
Otters need to be well.
Like a rhino.
Yeah, large and hairless. That's more accurate.
Large, muscular, and hairless.
I
I apologize if that's not the correct term.
Holy fuck.
Someone's gonna have to educate us with pictures.
Oh.
Don't ask what you can't take, Eric.
Yeah,
I still get feet pics.
To this day.
I know. I saw the one guy who messaged us. He had a little message for each individual person. He's like, Eric, if you still want feet pics,
I'm
I
your
got
guy.
him. Unless it was a joke, in which case, nice. This is a joke. Yeah.
As for the bones of the ancestors thing, I like to think it's like like in a prison, like the security area where all the security cameras are and stuff, and they just like live and die at their desk. So that's why they're wearing the bones of the people who died in the desk in the
They
seat
just
before them.
sit in the skeleton
Body
the-
piles, yeah,
of the other people. Yeah.
yeah, because they're always on their game. So it's like, oh, you died at your.
There's no time to clean.
You
even
died
though
at your
there's
post. They
cus-
just push your body over, and the next guy sits in your seat, and he starts like taking your bones and wearing them, watching the.
He's really
cameras.
cold. He's sitting there naked, like trying to wrap himself up in bones.
See the bones all rattle like. I love bones. That's not official. That's just what I'm thinking. It's why
That's
you would
not
wear
official lore.
No, why
because
you would
it's-
wear the
it's-
bones of
it's
your
an
ancestors.
honor, because whoever would have more bones has had more ancestors serving these things whose job is to protect the emperor. So it's an honor thing. Like
There'd be so many bones to wear.
well, you just would wear one,
Would you?
right? Why would
It says bones.
yeah,
it
the
doesn't
bones of your
specify-
ancestors.
the bones of your dad, your
It doesn't
granddad,
say
a bone from.
yeah. It
one
doesn't
from your
specify
mom.
a single bone from each
Eventually, he
ancestor.
wears too many bones that he collapses and dies before he can reproduce, and then that line
That-
is ended.
They just push all his bones aside.
Yeah, that
They,
line.
they burn them. There's no need to keep them. The only honor in this is for the serf individual. It's like a false
That's
honor.
the only time the custodian actually has to clean something up. Is when he has to go move all the bones.
But that's where their name came from, was the
Yeah.
one job.
The custodes don't even like the serfs, like
No.
this bone tradition. They're like, why the fuck?
Do you keep doing that?
Why are you? There's so many
you know how
bones here.
unsanitary
We told
this
you-
is?
They're not cleaned or anything.
No,
they're just
flesh
gross.
hanging
Yeah.
off.
We told your great 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 grandfather like 6,000 years ago to stop. Just stop.
I never listened.
All right, next up, we got tactics. The Custodes were never created as a conquering army. That was the job of the Thunder Warriors and later the Astartes. Their mindset and training reflects this. Yeah.
They're a one-man army.
Yeah.
Basically. Well, when one enters a battlefield, it's marked
It's a
as an
victory.
imperial victory.
Victory for the Imperium. Yeah, they're a way more individual person. Like
Yeah.
they don't.
One cool description from I forget what the book was called, The First Heretic, I think, was like they described Astartes as fighting like wolves, like coordinated in packs, and the custodians that were fighting with them were like lions, like individual war machines.
Be more like a tiger, I think.
Lions
than a
fighting
Oh
lion.
my god, are we gonna start this debate right now?
Lions
Well,
fighting packs.
Yeah.
Lion? Well, not
Lionesses.
male lions, but traditionally.
Ye-
Lionesses usually do. Male lions might make a
Male
I
lions
forget what
don't
they
really
call it.
do anything.
That's
in a pack.
That's
right.
I'm
But they
not sure.
exist in.
Oh my god! I
packs.
just watched the lion documentary. Don't get me started. I'll derail
Lion
this whole
King.
Just watch the
podcast.
Lion King.
Is not a lion
I
documentary.
will
Yeah, it
derail this
doesn't
whole
count
podcast.
when you watch the 1980.
Even
Disney
the new one
movie.
doesn't count. I'm taking the new one off the table too. No, both of them aren't lion documentaries.
No, it's actually pretty cool.
What, lions?
No, the documentary I saw. It's really
The
cool.
Lion King? Yeah, I guess I'll see it at some
It's
point.
okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, the custodes function in a way more individual level during the battle. Each one knows what they have to do, and they rely on themselves to do what they have
And
to
they
do.
know the perfect time to do it.
No, they're not Eldar.
They are.
Every
Oh.
time is the perfect time. They don't
Yeah.
need to know the perfect time.
They-
Every time is the
It's
time.
always the perfect
They
time.
make
for
the
them.
perfect time
That's
happen
right.
by
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good motivational speech right there.
Fuck.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Now is the
Now
perfect
is the
time.
perfect time.
When you do it, is the
Genocide
perfect
today!
time. Against horses, yes.
We got to protect ourselves.
But ultimately, they were made to be protectors of the emperor. That's kind
Everything
of
they
their
do
goal.
is around that purpose.
Yeah,
Exactly.
even like when they go out to fight something, it's like because
In long term.
in
yeah.
long term they believe like it will
Yeah.
have the ability to harm the emperor in some
Yeah.
way.
So that's kind of what we got for our notes. We got some discussion now.
Oh my god.
Tales of the Warp, perhaps some would say, others would not.
Not going into their casts, the Hycanatoi and
Yeah, what's your reason for that?
That's like the Hycanatoi are either sentinels or their companions. It's just they have a bunch of random names, and when you click on them, it's just like already a thing. Like we already talked about it, or it's very specific.
$5 says we're getting that back.
What?
You didn't talk about that.
Oh, well, fuck those people. I don't give a shit.
It would have been interesting.
Message in.
No, there's a lot of words.
Get
that they
angry.
throw
There's a
around.
lot.
There's a lot of that have no real anything to it, no real substance. Like there's no.
That's welcome to 40K.
Yeah, so I just skip the stuff that doesn't have substance. This is how I see 40K.
Right, I was gonna
Lorehammer's
say
always
you
been-
don't get to decide.
No, I do. I literally have done that for the past like 50 plus episodes.
Do you know how
decided.
much arguing I have to do to include things
I know.
that he doesn't find
I know,
important?
me too. I only even helped him plan for, like I said, 32.3% of the episode, and that was enough to frustrate me.
Look at me. Look at me. I am the podcast.
The podcast now.
PTSD.
Yeah,
from
he's
that
like, no, I don't want to
sentence.
include that. And I'm like, why don't you want to include that? He's like, because it's blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, it's important. And he's like, it's not important.
It's not important.
I don't
right
care. And I'm like, the fans care. And Mark's like, I don't care about the fans.
now. Fuck the fans. What have they ever done for me?
And then I'm like, Mark,
give
don't
you
say that
money.
on air. 'cause
I've never seen $1 of it.
Says the guy paying his mortgage with Lorehammer money.
he doesn't see it. It goes straight to the bank.
They take it right away.
Let's get into our discussion points here.
Sure.
So the first one is, what are their capabilities exactly? Often, it's inconsistently portrayed in the lore.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
The
So
books, it's
frustrating.
basically just like it. At least from what my experience is, if you ever want your character to be like a big bad, you just have him kill a custodian.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
just so annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They suffer from the Worf effect a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The what effect?
Worf? You ever seen Star Trek?
No.
There's a Klingon called Worf who's known to be one of the best Klingon fighters, yet
He's like a big bodyguard, and every time you want to show a big bad,
Yeah.
he gets his ass kicked. So he just ends up getting his ass kicked a lot because they always want to upscale the new baddie.
Yeah.
So he just ends up looking like a wimp because he never beats anyone because everyone's always...
But his reputation says otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like in lore, he's supposed to be X, but you're constantly demonstrated why, because...
And that is called the
the
Worf
Worf effect. You learned something, Aaron.
That's dumb. You need to be a nerd to understand something.
About
Now you
nerds.
can call it the banana boy effect.
That's right.
Actually, the Avatar of Cain suffers a very similar
Yeah,
thing too.
yeah.
Every time he just ends up becoming a wimp because everyone keeps beating him because they want to show
Yeah.
how badass they are.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. It's like
Yeah.
these guys are so big. Like I understand. Like, well, to be honest, it's lazy writing. That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's just
It's-
like I need to show my
character is so
my
cool.
character's
Yeah.
super cool, so I'm just gonna have him kill a custodian or like beat the avatar or whatever, right? And it's just like, well, at a certain point,
Can I just say the two worst offenders? One, I forget what book it was in the Beast of Rises series.
Mhm.
A bunch of what are they called? What are they like jesters, Eldar jester types?
Oh.
no,
Solitaires?
It wasn't even
Death masks?
solitaires. They were
They
it
were
was
just
one a
regular-
troop master,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they were just
Oh,
regular
just a
Eldar.
member
And
of
it's
the
like
Harlequin?
killing their way through a
and
bunch of
they
custodians.
slaughtered them.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Which is
reading that was
ridiculous.
just like I was getting so angry.
Yeah.
And then in the Horus Heresy, it wasn't a very good book to begin with. The Outcast Dead. There's a space marine who's being held in prison, completely naked, no weapons or armor. Gets out of his cell, punches a custodian through. The custodian's fully armored and fully armed, and this space marine is a world eater. He punches through the custodian's chest with his fist, grabs his spine and tears it out and kills
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, those are the two worst offenders.
That makes sense.
And people on the internet will like whatever. I like custodians obviously, so like I'm on the side of the custodian should be a little stronger than just getting their asses handed to them like this.
Yeah.
And people will just like go to bat for anyone that's not custodian because
Because
They
no
want-
one.
Because
They want
everyone
their
just,
faction to be the
loves
best.
Fucking Space Marines. That's all
everyone
everyone
loves their
want.
faction the most.
Yeah,
so
whatever that faction.
So whatever that faction is. So
Yeah.
like if an Eldar player is
Yeah.
like, oh, like it makes sense that the Eldar did that. It's like
Because
well,
Harlequins are the best
yeah, they're
ever.
the best
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
The custodians are like amazing. The fact that they no, and same
Yeah.
with like a world eater. It's like he shouldn't have killed it because one
Like,
world
Being
eater,
able to punch
completely-
through the armor. Like,
he's naked.
and completely naked too, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not even like he has a
Like,
weapon.
are his reflexes faster than the custodian?
So that's
Right?
that's the big argument is they claim that those custodians are on guard duty because they're injured or whatever.
But it doesn't matter.
no. If ever there was, as soon as their level is decreased, they just
Exactly.
become Eyes of the Emperor.
Right.
Or,
Exactly.
but not even just that.
Even he shouldn't have been able to punch through in like his
Right,
armor.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's my point. Is like
It's Armite.
why didn't the custodian kill him like from 10 feet away? Even like
Yeah.
it just it does nothing about that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad. Like there's other ways around it.
Yeah,
Like,
without just
if you're gonna lay siege
butchering.
the exactly. If you're gonna lay siege to the Imperial Palace, like there's billions of like guardsmen on the planet. Like if you want
even
to show
other
the,
space marines, I'm
even
sure.
other
are on the
Imperial
planet.
Fists. Like if you want to show some Eldar like rampaging through the Imperial Palace, don't just let them slaughter Custodes. That's just
Dumb.
It's dumb. It
dumb.
really is.
It's not good.
I think the Eldar made it to the throne room.
Yeah.
And the only reason they were stopped is because Trajan Valorous himself went and like beat them. And that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Was
like
it
that.
Trajan?
Even to get into,
I thought it was Trajan.
I don't think he was around that long ago because the Beast that Rises happens like in the M30s.
yeah, it wouldn't have been him. But
But
regardless,
whatever.
Then it was.
Captain.
I think it was the Captain General of the time had
Sure.
to go and stop them,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I remember. I
Regardless,
vaguely
like-
remember because I was so pissed off. I just like sped right through that part. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
just like, I just can't.
Yeah.
Either
But
way,
yeah,
it's
it
just
ended up in
ridiculous.
some
It
kind
was
of
like-
stalemate.
Yeah,
where they
it
were
was
like,
like,
that should not
and
be
it
a
shouldn't have been.
stalemate.
There was like 10 Eldar.
Yeah,
Yeah, like one Custode should be the
should be yeah.
more than enough.
And you know what? Even if it's like the true master can kill one custodian, I'd be like, sure, he's a true master. He's like a Harlequin elite.
Yeah.
But then like he shouldn't get through more than 2.
yeah, especially like on their turf,
On their turf, yeah.
where they train their whole lives to literally stop this exact thing from happening.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sounds
So-
like they need to do better in their blood
Yeah.
games.
yeah. And then there are other times when they're like quite strong. Like in one book they were fighting next to one shield captain was fighting next, but he wasn't like a very high rank shield captain, was fighting next to 5. He was killing more than 5 Grey Knights were demons. He was killing more demons than 5 Grey Knights were able to do. And I was like, well, like I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me. But also, it's like that's pretty to kill more demons than a Grey Knight than a squad of Grey Knights.
Yeah, the people that
Well, the interesting thing
This
about
speaks to
Grey
the
Knights is
specialized-
that just demons being in their presence is supposed to like
weaken them.
burn them
Yeah.
essentially. So
and one shield captain was like pretty easily like killing more demons than they were able to do.
was he using force weapons?
I don't know.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. So then the question is, where would we rank them? Like obviously Custodes are the best, but how
Like
much
individually, they are individually the best warriors.
Yeah, so
I-
obviously that's a given.
That's-
that's
the
everyone
other-
should agree on. My question would be, how many Space Marines do you think it would take to take down like a Custode?
It's
And
just so situational.
That's the other thing that people argue too is like you have everything like even description of books where they're like the same but different is how they're described. I think in the first Heretic they kept describing as like the same but different.
Yeah.
Right? They're on the same level and like a mortal couldn't tell who could win a fight by observing two of them fight each other.
Yeah.
Right? They could amongst themselves because they know each other's skill and stuff, but you couldn't as an outsider. It's that close. And there's other ones where they're like, nah, man, like one custodian would just stomp any one Space Marine.
So then this is my question: what do you guys think the comparison would be?
Like what is it like? How many guard are to a Space Marine?
I think it's 1,000.
Again, that's like a figurative quote though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
realistically,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what it would be
situation,
like.
what stuff dictates, but
Maybe like yeah. I mean, I could even
like, do you
say.
think one custodian could wipe out a chapter? Obviously,
No,
I think that's
no.
insane.
Yeah, that's
obviously. Okay, so
insane.
like step it down. A company,
Yeah.
no.
could a company take on one custodian?
Oh yes. A company
Yes.
could. Yes.
Okay, so then you take it down. Could a squad of Terminators? Could a
So to me,
tactical
that-
squad?
so,
could a
yeah.
Devastator squad? Right?
So
Like,
to me, that would be kind of the line, like a squad of Space Marines, like just a tactical squad. It would be a toss up in my mind. Who would come out on top? One Custode or that squad of Space Marines?
right.
Like even if they had like a melt-a-gun or like a las cannon,
fully
like
equipped. This is their task. They're
Yeah.
trained and ready to do this
Yeah.
task.
I mean, that being said, again, in the same book where like the custodian was killing all those demons,
yeah.
they boarded a Black Legion ship,
Yeah.
and they were just like laying waste to them.
Yeah.
And like 10 custodians survived the entirety of the ship for like hours
Yeah.
while Reboot got like ready and came. So I mean,
one of their fun time games is capturing Chaos Space Marines
And bringing them
releasing
back.
them into the fortress.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so
That's-
much harder to capture something than it is to kill
Like
it.
that's one of their fun time games. So yeah, to me it's like a 10-1. That
10 to
would
1?
kind of like,
But-
I'm talking like an optimized squad.
Yeah, and in an
Yeah.
optimal
And
scenario,
I would give
cage
it-
match situation.
Yeah, like-
because then yes, if you're a custodian, you're holding like you're going to put yourself in an ideal position to defend a position. First
Yeah.
of all, so they're assaulting you, so now you already have the edge.
Yeah,
you
for
play on
sure.
those things, right? I'm going to hide in this corner versus that corner. I'm going
Yeah.
to let them walk through the door one at a time, and I'm going to pick them off, right? I'm going to force them into a pass. with only-
skulls of my ancestors.
I always
That's
kind of
so-
like viewed it. Well, this is like really, really dumb, but how I viewed it was like, Space Marines are kind of like the Spartans of the world, where it's like they're the super soldier, like in like the videos where like Master Chief is moving like super fast, he's like killing whatever, like that's kind of the comparison. And then if Space Marines are that, I would say that a custodian is like an anime level hero, where they're just like super fast, super strong.
Once again,
they just like whip around, like whipping their spears around like no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Some Japanese electric guitars.
Yeah.
playing, pop song is singing in the background.
So what's like the
Songs
number
about
that's
friendship being thrown around there?
what's the number that's thrown around for it takes this many deaths to create a Space Marine?
I forget.
Like one in this many survive to become a Space
Yeah,
Marine.
I
Does
forget
anyone
that
remember?
exact number.
And so it's not on the lexicon, and they don't have anything about it. But on the Wikia, which take with a grain of salt,
Yeah.
But
says
it's always so much funnier.
No, the Wikia, not 1D4.
yeah, no,
D4chan is my favorite.
in the Wikia, it says one in many thousands of potential candidates might prove suitable for the simplest of steps. So if you were to take a look at like how difficult and how much effort and time is put into one of those compared to a batch produced soldier who is going to have flaws, like the Custodes, as far as I can see, they're not meant to have any flaw.
Yeah.
But there are flaws in Space Marines.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Right?
yeah.
There's
like,
just knowledge gaps for the Space Marines.
Yeah, like
that the
you say-
Custodes just don't have.
1 in 10, but it's so much harder to make a custody than it is a Space Marine. Even a 1
Sure.
in 10 seems like almost a futile effort, and what's the point?
Maybe it's higher. To me, I would never go lower than that, though. That would be like
Your
okay,
lowest bar.
That's my.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable.
That's with luck
that.
on their side.
Yeah.
The Emperor has abandoned this particular custody.
Yeah.
It's
But,
Jim.
like-
He's not very good.
Yeah.
He's retired.
He
He
only
doesn't
has
have
one
any
name.
armor.
Jim is his only
Yeah,
name.
that's his only name.
I think we can move that because I'll move past that because obviously there is no real.
It's
answer.
hard
It's
to
really
answer
hard.
But
that.
for me,
Yeah.
that would be like that's if anything happened where it's not a 10-1 and a custode's dying, I'm scratching my head at the very least. But
Yeah,
that's not quite,
definitely.
yeah.
Takes more than 100 Eldar Guardians to kill a custody.
There we go. That's a good number. Thanks,
gotta,
Eric.
You gotta pump those rookie numbers up.
we need to create like a chart. X number of what can kill.
It's
X
like
number
many
it's a
of
plots?
matrix.
Yeah.
It's a matrix. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
what's the number it takes to kill the other.
And
So-
it just goes exponent. Orcs, it's just you can't.
Yeah.
Orcs just
No.
don't.
It did it. Wow.
The next question I have is why didn't they act in 10,000 years since the Horus Heresy
They did.
in full scale?
Oh,
I'll add that.
Yeah. Like, come out as an army. Why are they?
I think they were.
They were
like,
too sad.
Yeah, they
for
were
10,000 years.
They were so sad.
It would have
There
been
were-
generations.
there
of
were
custodes
sanctions
at
put
least.
on
Yes,
them.
they inherited everyone else's grief.
The other question too.
It was
is
introduced in their
but don't they care about
alchemy.
the well-being of the Imperium? Don't
So-
they care about you?
They
the
don't.
people?
They actually
Stay
they
away
don't,
from my joke,
They don't care
Christian.
about the Imperium. They only care
and
about
they,
the Emperor.
and they do not
Yeah.
care about the people
They
at all.
don't. Even though they're supposed to be like the custodians of mankind, and like they're supposed to help the
I don't
mankind
even think
forward.
that is even a thing you should say. There, Nathan. I think you're wrong. I think that's a misperception. Is that they're not meant for mankind. They're meant for the Emperor.
Yeah, and ultimately that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Like, all they care about is the Emperor. That's why
Yeah.
they haven't left.
Yeah.
Because even
Yes.
so, here's my example. So they went on the Great Crusade. The Emperor went back to Terra. Where did the Custodes go?
Yeah.
They went back to Terra. Like,
Their role is with the
the,
Emperor.
the Great Crusade was still in full force. Like it was
Yeah.
still
yeah, they just don't care that much.
yeah. Like that's their job.
Yeah, and that is also why, even though they have all, like I was saying before, they have all that knowledge and kind of how they view technology and how they view the Emperor.
Yeah.
The Empire starts these churches and starts, this mystical view of the past and all this BS. They don't care. It's not their problem.
Yeah. As long as the Emperor is safe.
That's as
No.
far as they care to
Yeah.
go.
Now, if like what happened when the ecclesiarchy got out of control, and they started to even like during the Age of Apostasy, that's when the Custodes then stepped in because
Yeah.
like, well, now this is starting to threaten the Emperor.
Yeah. Now this is too far. Or same
Yeah.
with the War of the Beast. When the orcs got to Terra, there's
Yeah.
like, now it's our problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Before, when they were raping all the other planets, they didn't care so much. But now it's your problem.
So that leads me into the follow up question: how do we feel about their return into 40K?
I don't really. Their return to 40K is whatever. The return to tabletop, I disagree with though. Even
Yeah.
though I play them, yeah, I just think they're too good for tabletop. the idea that these like basically gods are like on
Hey.
tabletop.
Primarchs aren't too good. Neither are custodians.
Well, I think Primarchs are also too good for tabletop.
Okay. I agree
At
with
least
you
they're
on that.
consistent.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I think both should not be. If you want models, that's fine, but I just think
Giving them rules.
giving them rules just like it makes them too limited.
Trying to have like a physical number, quantifiable match of, but like you can actually math out how many Space Marines it takes to beat Custodians.
Sure, but we also
and
know
that's
that
dumb.
We know that tabletop rules do not reflect. Even
Right, and
Space
that's
Marines
what-
are too powerful for the tabletop.
Yeah, that's
at that
part of how I
point.
feel about bringing them into the tabletop. I also think it's dumb to have some things on the tabletop.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be able to measure some things in such a strict manner.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you're
preferred
with
to
the
leave
D6
it
here.
outside.
I like Space Marines. I think do fit tabletop. I think they're fine for tabletop.
Because
I know
they're an army.
they're an army,
Yeah.
whereas the Custodians just aren't.
Yeah.
Like the idea that you have an army of Custodians on the table, it's like no, you'd have like 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
One. You just need one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, on tabletop, it's a little iffy, but how do we feel about them in the lore? Repute Gilman comes, like, hey, you want to go on a crusade? They're like, okay. How do we feel about that? They've all of a sudden put aside their vow to protect the Emperor.
I don't think that's it.
They didn't. Yeah, I think part of like what Reboot told them was like the Emperor wants you to start going out and doing stuff again, and they were like, okay,
Yeah, so how you okay with that?
yeah,
Okay.
sure, why not?
Christian?
without actually. I haven't gotten to that part in the book yet. Actually,
I don't care how they reason it out, though.
sure,
how
but
do you
that could
feel about
matter.
Yeah, because
Yes,
it's
they
one of the
could.
ways that
They
I
give
feel
you a
okay with
reason,
it.
and you're like, "Oh, actually, that doesn't make sense." Okay, I'm cool with that.
Okay,
or not.
sure.
But like in principle, like if someone
in
just told
principle,
me,
in
I
principle.
don't know much about like they didn't release a book, let's say, because they didn't release the book before they actually released the
Yeah.
army.
Yeah.
Um,
In principle.
yeah,
how do you
I would,
like it?
I don't like. Why would they be leading a squad like an army of Cadians? Why would they be working with these Space Marines?
Oh.
To me,
They were doing the Cadian thing because the council asked them to go to Cadia before it fell. That's what I was saying. They had sanctions put on them, so they weren't supposed to leave Terra.
Yeah.
Obviously, they did anyways, but in secret.
but that was an official. Now we're requesting.
But now,
Yeah.
so they were like, hey, we request that the sanction be like annulled and that you come to Cadia and help us fight there.
yeah.
So I don't know the specific thing that you're talking about, but I assume that's why they would go to Cadia, is because Reboot was like,
No,
yeah,
I
we're
mean like
getting
on
our
the
shit
tabletop. Like,
kicked.
why is
Oh,
a squad
yeah.
of guys helping?
Why are
your-
they allied with the Mechanicum? Why
Yeah,
are they
like, why are
allied
they
with
here?
the Vestroyans?
Like-
I actually think them allied in makes more sense than just pure custody.
Well, okay, so I don't like the way they did it. Kind of
yeah,
similar
I
to what you're
agree.
saying. Like they're not an army going out.
Yeah.
You get one model or one official guy, and he's doing this particular task. Like if he's leaving Terra, he's leaving for a reason that they know is a threat to the Emperor. There's a big war boss like somewhere that they know is going to teleport into Terra. They know there's an Eldar ship that's like plotting. Somehow I don't know how they.
He's
figure
not
it
just
out.
going on a 40-year crusade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like this is a clear and present threat, or will become a clear and present threat, and they go and neutralize that threat, and then they come back.
Yeah.
And it's very discreet. Like they only take the resources they need to do it. They might not go alone. They might like requisition an army to get the task done. But
Yeah.
like you serving as a Cadian, you don't know why you're there.
Yeah.
You're just ordered to go fight on this random planet. It's all being orchestrated by a custodian, but they go there, they do they complete their mission, and they get back out.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I think I would have done it. Obviously, they want to sell the models and,
Yeah.
and sell the
obviously,
army, but
like,
yeah. So yeah, as a mass force going out, I'm conflicted though, because part of it's kind of cool, like Charge of the Rohirrim kind of situation, where they're just like these golden knights are like coming to save the Empire at the last minute.
that's what Primaris are for.
Yeah, I know. And there's other ways around. I'm just saying.
Yeah, sure.
I just like
Eric,
them.
how do you feel about them? Quizzical.
It's a good question. I think a lot of it does have to do with the reason why they came back.
Sure.
I'm less happy about it if Reboot was just like, "Hey, do it," and then all of them were like, "Yeah, we're pretty much done like what we
No,
did, so
yeah.
let's leave." And like if I could rationalize it myself and be happy with them being
Yeah.
active in 40K, but I don't think Games Workshop will do it exactly how I think. So.
Oh, sure.
So tell us
Yeah.
what you think.
Yeah.
That was
Well, I like to think like it doesn't to take 10,000 custodians to do this. That's why they have the companions, right? The
Sure.
companions are like the dedicated guard in his room, and then however many other it takes to guard the Imperial Palace.
Well, it's a continent-sized palace, so Probably 10,000, I would imagine.
But they also have other things guarding this
sure,
palace,
sure.
right? Like, are all 10,000 always on the battlements? Like,
Yes.
no, they're also doing other things, right? And, and so
No, I hear you.
if you say like, oh, one, like now, like how we had the companions, this is a rotating group of 300 custodians in this room. Let's have
5,000 in the palace.
Right, yeah. Let's have a
rotate.
rotating group of 1,000 custodians that are actually roaming around trying to gain something back that we lost. And so I can see something like that going. If something changed in their ideals where they no longer were solely focused on the emperor and they're trying to claim something back or regain some kind of honor that they perceived as lost. And I like to think that there was like a shift in their personality or character that also brought about this shift in behavior.
Sure.
Because it doesn't make any sense to just leave. There has to be a reason, or there has to be something that changes.
And that brings me to me where I don't think there is a good enough reason for them to ever leave on force unless the emperor does.
Yeah.
I don't think...
And to me, that's the best reason.
Yeah.
That's the best reason out there.
I just don't think anything else
is a big enough
problem. That's not their purpose. For 10,000 years, they've been steadfast and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like
I almost like to think they're almost like idiotically committed to their task where like the empire's literally crumbling around them, but it's literally not the emperor, so we don't care.
Yeah, I like to think that too. Like
every plan is being consumed and they're like, until that threat is on our shores, I don't care.
Yeah.
And like there's almost a backwardsness in that where you think that's dumb, but it's because they're so single-minded in their task. It shows how dedicated they are to that task, right? It's like a guy who's like been programmed only to walk, and he walks till his legs become stubs. Like he walks himself to death because he's that's all he's meant to do, right?
It's like the guy who paints lines on the road and there's like a tree branch in the way,
and
instead of moving it, he just paints over the
because it
wasn't his problem,
right? Exactly.
It's not his job to clean the roads. It's his job to paint the roads.
Exactly. And there's almost like a 40K-ness to that, where it's like they're so single-minded in their task. They're really good at it.
Yeah.
Good luck trying to breach that imperial palace, but they're not going to act until it's too late.
Yeah. I definitely prefer that, but. This is not the biggest lore qualm I've ever had. I don't lose sleep over this one like I do many others.
It's the other things. It's the other screams that keep you up at night.
Yeah.
For me, it's all the people I've killed.
Oh my god.
That's what keeps you awake?
Their screams mostly.
I just hear horses screaming in my dreams, in my nightmares.
Screams. So loud.
The next question I have is, how do you guys feel about 30K custode units being introduced to 40K? So you have 30K and 40K units in 40K.
Well,
should they be distinct to their certain setting, or is the cross okay?
I love the Telemon Dreadnought, but like I don't know if they should really have 40K rules. Some of the stuff maybe, like the Dreadnoughts, I think yes, that makes sense because they're like this thing that transverses time.
Yeah.
In their sarcophagi or whatever.
I got two examples that are egregious. So that
egregious.
Egregious.
Even. Yeah. Not only
Mark
slight
and I
problems.
were talking about it before we episode.
And like the Dreadnoughts completely agree, but the two example is they have two types of Terminators now in 40K. They got the 30K and they got the 40K type of Terminators.
Yeah.
The other example is jet bikes. They got the 30K and they got the 40K. To me, that's dumb.
I agree. I think that is dumb, and I think the guys with the guns are dumb.
Why?
Just because like they like, so like I'm pretty sure their purpose was like they were supposed to be. So like there's the Imperial Palace obviously, and they actually don't stay in it. They stay out of it, and they like are supposed to be kind of like rangers and scouts.
Okay.
But in a lot of like the 40K lore, it never talks about them doing any of their scouting or rangers type stuff. So it's like, yeah. So then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh, but they're there. They just haven't done it. It's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. I personally, wish the 30K would stay in the 30K.
I think it should stay in the 30K.
Or even like, why have two? I think it's just a miscoordination at Forge World and GW.
Ultimately, I'd say just want to.
They want to sell the models.
Because I'm okay with the distinction between the 30K and the 40K. Like I'm okay with.
It doesn't make sense to me, at least particularly with the Terminators, why they only have one, for lack of a better word, one mark of the standard armor, but why would they have two variants of? Unless there's a reason for the variant in the armor, right?
Yeah.
They developed this armor to combat X scenario, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But without that, and just for the sake of it, like it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, I agree. I think it's dumb. I think what it should be is that if you're a Terminator, you can just take whatever weapon you want. If you want to take the axe, cool. If you want to take the power fist, you can go.
You shouldn't
for
have to
it.
get a different set of
You
armor.
shouldn't have to get a different set of armor just to be able to carry a different gun or a different weapon. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just like Primaris.
Well,
We won't start into it. I regret saying anything, but yes,
Yeah.
you mean the best part of the game?
the only part of the game.
the
apparently.
good part of the game.
good
That's
part,
for sure.
yeah.
I just remembered something
What?
pretty crazy about the
Okay.
blood games.
Okay.
Just popped into my mind. So we talked about how crazy the blood games can get.
Yeah.
They go to such extremes. There's a story, if I'm remembering this correctly, it's been a while. So on Terra, they have these like orbital plates, these massive like city, if not bigger sized structures that hover in the atmosphere of Terra.
Yeah.
Some are defensive, some are like commercial, whatever the reasons are for being there. And they're all around the planet. And they hover above Terra, right? A custodian for Blood Game hijacks one and tries to drive it into the Imperial Palace.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Yeah. And the whole story is like, how did this threat get through? You don't know that's what's going on.
Yeah.
But all the custodians are like on high alert. They're like, this thing's coming at us. Like,
Yeah.
we need to intercept it, do whatever we can, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's like, yeah, it's just a guy playing a blood game.
They don't muck about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think in the blood games that they actually will kill other custodes then?
You know what? I bet you the standard of training is that high. Because I mean,
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Or if they are about to make the killing blow, their training is so good that both know that it would have been a killing blow.
And
if
then
you
they
both,
just forfeit.
Yeah, exactly.
The one who is dead
I
is
could
like,
see
I
that
understand,
too.
like, I'm dead. You
Yeah.
got me.
And if
Yeah.
like if you were bad enough,
I'll lie down now and then he just like crumples on the floor.
Yeah.
Until like someone just
He has his death.
till the blood game's over.
Well, yeah.
I
why-
could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're like the blade, millimeter away just draws blood and then it's like
yeah, and if you let
Yeah.
yourself get to that point, like you almost deserve
yeah.
that failure.
I
right?
could see it going either way.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
could also see the death and being
Yeah.
like, I'm glad you
shouldn't
sacrificed.
you shouldn't have let him kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not that they're sympathetic to you. It's like you should have been better is the
Yeah.
problem, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I don't know. I agree. I think I agree with your method. It's too costly to just keep killing each other. It'd
Yeah.
probably be more of a you're dead. I know
Yeah.
I'm dead. We'll call it
Yeah.
It's paintball.
Interesting.
with real guns.
Yeah.
I just shoot the hair off your head, and it's
Accidentally
like, you know you'd be dead, right?
shot one. His head is just gone. Just like, ooh.
Jim, this is the third time you've killed someone.
That's why Jim is a 1 on 10 because the Emperor is just like, you're killing too many of us.
Yeah,
Like,
Jim, it was a mistake to make you a custodian. Go back.
And the final question we got is female custodes, yay or nay? How do we feel about that?
no,
Also- Really?
because
Tell me why.
Sisters of Silence.
But they're completely
But
different.
you have to be a blank to be a Sisters of
Yeah.
Silence.
Yes. Okay.
What if you aren't a blank and you still want to be?
I get where Nathan is coming. He's coming from the aesthetic of having one hand, two hands,
Yes.
and they're evenly. One is all female, one is all male.
Yes.
Aesthetically, I get it. Is there a requirement though?
No.
Like, could you
No.
have a male blank and
Yeah,
have
there-
them be a Sister of Silence?
Yeah.
No.
No, because that's explicitly said. They are only sisters.
Female.
They are only
Oh,
female.
sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
But
But the
there's-
reverse is not true.
But there's not like
I
a
don't think
real
there is a
requirement other than the fact that we say there aren't. Like,
yeah, but that's the same with everything.
well, no, with Space Marine, there's like a genetic.
Sure.
problem
sure.
with it.
But by
Well, then
convention,
couldn't
also,
there be a genetic problem with female custodians?
there
'Cause if
could be, but it's never said anywhere. That's
No,
the thing.
But
And like it's not only science, it's like almost magic. the
There
way
is
that it's
definitely
treated.
an aspect of magic
Yeah.
anytime you're dealing with like the Emperor's genetic code. Like, he's not human.
Sure, but that magic can. Who says that? There's no rules on that magic. That's my
Yes,
point.
yes.
Is
So we
with Space
haven't-
Marines,
it's not said one way or the
with
other.
Sisters of
So,
Silence,
yeah.
with Sisters of Battle, they are all explicitly stated. I have never encountered anywhere that said custodes cannot be female.
maybe there are female
Now-
custodians.
All the examples we have are male, and like for tradition's sake,
and just going off what the emperor usually does.
right? And that's my point. Is tradition's sake,
Yeah.
the Empire does tend to be gender segregated. It makes sense for them because they are reflective of a medieval society, really.
Yeah.
So, you have the Sisters of Silence, you have the Space Marines, you have the Sisters of Battle, you have custodians. It would make sense that they are male for the sake of that continuity.
Also, just for like size, speed, strength requirements of like you can add space magic all you want, but if your
I-
custodian isn't going to be big enough, as big as the other ones, then it's is it well,
Unless
yeah,
but that's
your
the thing.
average.
There's no
But
rules.
there are
but there's no
exceptions.
rules. Yeah, I
Right.
guess they can
so
be
when
kind
you
of like
include
whatever
the level of magic, right? Like if we're
That's
recruiting,
the thing. Like we
yeah,
are
I guess
when
there
it comes
there
to
could be female custodians.
I'm
Why
under
not?
that as well. I think there should be even just because
well, okay, that's where I draw the line.
not should be, could be.
There could be.
If you were to create a story of a female custody,
I don't think it would be like
Mark
out
wouldn't
of the
bat an
realm.
eye.
Yeah,
I would not. I honestly wouldn't.
think
Where
it's out of the
Space
realm.
Marines, I'm gonna lose my shit because that's
Explicitly stated.
there's reasons for it too. Where custodes,
Yeah.
they're more bodyguards. You can also have like sneaky ones, like ones that are more like infiltration
okay.
and like
they're all
Th-
supposed to be
it's a
that.
lot of
When
different
it's-
roles.
No, because
They
when
can
you get into
infiltrate.
magic, they should be the same. A female custodian
Oh,
would be the
sure,
same as
sure,
a male
but
custodian.
maybe mindset or
Well, it wouldn't
even
matter at that.
yeah.
They're beyond gender at that
Yeah.
point,
Yeah,
right?
I
Same thing with
think-
Space Marines.
yeah.
Like, I don't think their minds are gendered. Well,
Yeah.
other than the whole fraternity brotherhood thing, which is an important aspect of Space
Oh, yeah,
Marines. Don't get me
absolutely
wrong.
is.
But at that point, they're
the
not
custodians are called the Brotherhood of Demigods.
right. So at that point, that's pretty explicitly male. Then
yes. But I
Um,
just wouldn't see it as much of an offense to have a
Sure.
female
Yes. Yeah.
custodian.
I wouldn't like lose the same way I wouldn't lose my mind over female Space Marines.
Ah!
But I know even uttering it is.
How dare you?
That's
Well,
pretty much
think
heresy in
What
this
I
room.
think is they should magically imbue the Sisters of Silence with the same strength and powers.
But they fulfill a different role completely.
Oh, 100%. But they're still fighting on the front lines with the custodians. So if you have this super soldier who's going into like when the custodians are called, it's like, oh, this is something a space marine can't do. So
Yeah.
we're sending the custodians.
But that's not what it
oh,
is.
and
even.
some randos who aren't that good, but they have some psychic powers.
anti-psychic powers.
Yeah.
So this is where it gets tough, and I'm gonna save most of my rant for Sisters of Silence episode.
You're not on that one. This is your last one.
Okay, I'll pitch those ideas to whoever ends up on the episode, and they'll say like, "Oh, Christian said this and that."
I will not.
As far as we know, I don't think Sisters of Silence are genetically modified or
They're
anything like that.
It's like
I-
stated they're not.
Right. So to me, that's a bit of an issue, considering like the level that they're operating at.
Yeah.
Right. Like even like theoretically, a sororita would be better than a silent sister if sororitas are modified even slightly more, even with bionics and junk, than a sister of silence. Right. Their only thing is that they're blanks. Right.
Yeah.
All that being said, I don't want to get into sister of silence because that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, but I don't get beyond that episode, so I don't give a fuck.
Speak your piece. But for me, the whole custodian female thing.
Yeah, like the female custodian, I'm fine with it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, the only part that like the pairing that bothered me was just that you have these beyond super soldier men,
Yeah.
and these regular women,
Right.
and I just thought
They couldn't even could not keep up.
No, like
No.
even just running, like
Even
and
walking,
they have- and
the
like-
stride would be different.
and
on
their
these
whole thing is
people.
like their armor is better, like they have Aramite armor as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like other than that, they're just normal women who like train a lot, but like you
There's
could
still
train-
limits on a human
Yeah.
body. Yes.
that the
Period.
custodians are just
Yeah.
like
even like the
don't-
strongest human male or female could not keep up with a custodian
No.
regardless. So why? Yeah.
So that was just one thing that always bugged me, was just that it's like, because like, and you're right, the custodians don't just go in when a space marine can't do it, but like it's that idea where like if a custodian's going in, it's like a very dire circumstance where it's very dangerous,
Yeah.
and the fact that you're going to send in
Normal humans.
and like they operate together, like a custodian will like require
Work.
that use of like
Yeah.
a blank to help fight like demons and stuff, so it's just kind of like
it
so the
seems
way-
more like a tool on their belt than it
Yeah.
does seem like
Yeah, they're an
like
accessory.
they're not an equal
Yeah.
by any means.
and that's what it's supposed to be. Like Sisters of Silence aren't going and fighting orcs.
Sure. Yes and no though, because the sisters have their own organization, their
Yeah.
own thing. They're not. A
they're
tool.
their own thing.
Right.
Oh,
they're
no,
not a
I
tool
know.
on a custodian's belt.
No.
But in this instance, it's the only way they could be used because they can't.
because they just
Do
can't
anything.
keep
But that's
up.
the way they should be used.
Well, should
just
because
like
they are in books
just
and
like
stuff,
the
they
custodes
represented
are.
as being
Their
pretty
purpose
crazy.
is to protect the emperor.
Sure.
The Sisters of Silence is to shut down psychers.
And
They're
demons,
not
yes.
going. What?
And demons. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to battlefields that don't meet those requirements.
Right. That
Like-
don't need them, but they're not a tool of the other. That's my point.
Oh, no.
The custodians
no.
are not a tool
Abs-
for someone else to use the same way the sisters
Sure.
are not a tool for custodians. to
Sure.
use.
So I just think like how much better would they be if they were also genetically enhanced?
Yeah, even to,
to
some,
any degree.
to
any
some
degree.
level.
Oh,
that's,
yes,
what that's where I
absolutely.
would say is
Like
like,
they don't need to be custodian level, but
they'd
just the
be
idea that
better than regular
regular
humans.
Yeah.
humans.
Yeah,
I just the
but that
environments
sounds
I
more
see
like
them
a sister
fighting
of
in.
silence gripe than. custodians.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Just the way I see the Sisters of Silence, it's like it doesn't matter if they're genetically modified because they're shutting down the thing that is going to kill them.
But it does.
But
here-
what about just things that are better than them on a physical?
So,
like an Eldar is just better physically than you.
Or
and they
even
don't-
like a demon, their blank powers negate some of their power, but even like a small demon could still probably kill a Sister
Oh,
of
yeah,
Silence in
sure,
a
sure.
one-on-one
Or
fight.
even
Like,
beyond that.
it's not going to shut out Nurgle's rot. You breathe
No.
that air, you're still dead. Interesting fact: Sisters of Silence armor not environmentally sealed. That's just why. Why would you?
There's
not,
things like
they
that.
Can't even,
yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
So
no,
they're
I'm
just-
not. Yeah, I could definitely see
I
them
mean,
getting
yeah,
an upgrade.
I understand.
What are
This
we
is
talking about here?
this
Female
is a-
custodies, or
This is a Custodes thing, but it's just like
turned
they,
into a
they,
Sisters of
they
Silence.
pair together, and it just always bothered me
Because
that
they're always
one is
represented
so
as one is the right hand, one is the
yeah,
left
and
hand.
one is so
Talons of
high,
the
and one
Emperor.
is so low, and it just bothered me that the
You
Emperor
ever jerk
wouldn't.
off with your right and then jerk off with your left?
no,
Very different.
Well,
One's super sultry.
you can go
one is
twice in
not.
a row.
yeah, wow.
No, I'm talking over the span of 4 weeks.
Oh,
Jake has a very huge refractory period.
that just always bothered me with
Yeah.
the Custodes that their counterpart would be so much lower
Okay,
than them.
Yeah, like to me, I don't want to turn this to a Sister Silence thing, but yes, they are.
I already did.
They have functionally a different role.
Yeah.
So,
And I get that, but it's just
but you're right.
They
There's
fight
also
together.
when they end
there's
up
also gonna be
together
way
all the
more.
time, then
Yeah.
you want to at least enhance them in some way to keep up, or even freaking suit them up properly.
Yeah.
Give him a helmet.
It's crazy that they're not even environmentally sealed. They can't fight in the same environments
Yeah.
as each other.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
But Chaos Space Marines, for example, that's someone who isn't solely dependent on
180.
No. That's someone who's not solely dependent on the warp for their power. They're straight up still a beast, as a Space Marine is.
Yeah.
And now they're facing off against Sister Silence.
Yeah.
That's where you become having issues, right?
Yeah.
or Necron. Literally anything that isn't influenced by
sure,
the war.
but why is the Sister Silent?
They
fighting?
lose their shtick completely.
But
Yeah,
why are they
yeah,
fighting a Necron
like,
to begin
they
with?
wouldn't
Like,
fight
wouldn't
a
have been
Necron.
sent to do
It's
that.
a tomb world, and they happen to be on it. Screw you. There's a reason for Necron to be everywhere.
But they will be fighting demons, and they are fighting Chaos
Yeah.
Space Marines.
Right. So that's
Both
where it
of
becomes
which-
straight up a
yeah,
problem.
they're just because both are just stronger than them in a
Yeah.
one-on-one fight. Their blank powers are. It's like that's cute, but if you're just gonna get die instantly, what's the point?
Someone's just going to throw a smoke grenade, and
Yeah.
now all of a sudden
You can't see it, you can't breathe.
see, and you can't breathe.
Yeah, it's like
So they're bullshit. I guess we agreed on that.
you don't even need to do the next episode. I just did it for you guys. You're
Oh
welcome.
yeah, it's our next episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit kind of
anyways.
pathetic.
Sorry.
I want to kind of bring it back to the female custodies thing.
Good luck. I'll bring it away.
The other thing in terms of convention tradition, like one, I really don't want to bring in the
Now I really want to model some female Custodes with like those Stormcast Eternals with like a cool sword and shield
those
motif.
would be cool.
Yeah, do it.
Fuck yeah.
But
Like,
now I'm going to
really,
shoot you
though-
down on that.
Really, you would just need to do a head swap.
You just need to do
They
that.
should physically not be distinguishable from.
They're gonna be distinguishably different.
Okay, you do you.
They don't wear armor still.
They're gonna
Why
be,
are they all in bikinis?
Yeah, they're gonna be in bikinis.
Why did you do these as the oiled models?
anime? What are these anime models, Nathan? I don't.
Anime is art.
Anyways,
Anime is art.
you did derail it again, you bastard. I didn't even get it off. Okay. What I was trying to say is convention is important to 40K. I don't care what people in modern politics say.
it is.
It is modeled after feudal societies. I think that segregation is an important part of a society you don't really want to emulate. So there's no reason to insert your modern politics into 40K because you don't want to be the Imperium.
No.
So-
There's that saying where it's like Star Trek guys want to be in
Be in
Star Trek.
Star Wars guys want to be in Star Wars.
40K people? No.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Pass.
So,
Hard pass.
yeah, in order to push those hard.
Well, if I get to be a custodian, maybe.
Maybe.
I got bad news for you, Nathan. You're gonna be one of the hundreds of dead acolytes.
He's a serf wearing the bones
Yeah,
of his
he's
ancestors.
definitely a bone.
I'm okay
boy
with that
for
too.
sure.
a bone boy.
a bone boy.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
okay with being a bone boy.
You
So
can
still
be
can
in the
have
presence
sex.
of the banana boys.
I still get to be in the presence and have sex, apparently. So
that's better than most of the Imperium.
That's better than their life right now, even.
let's be real.
I'm only getting one of those things.
Barely.
You have your.
He's getting a bone, but it's not getting the sex.
He's getting the boner, but not. Anyways, you guys are the worst. In terms of that convention, the Emperor does seem to care about gender politics in the sense of segregation, right? With the whole left and right thing of like custodians are brotherhood, Sister Silence are a sisterhood.
Yeah.
All the Primarchs are guaranteed male, including the missing two, because Malkador confirms that.
Yeah.
Right? Like at any point, the Emperor could have made daughters. He didn't. For whatever reason, we don't know. Maybe he is dumb. I don't know.
Well, he's sexist.
Sure.
Whoa, man.
That's entirely.
He created things after his own
Why
image.
are people okay with him being genocidal but get angry if you say he's sexist? Maybe he is sexist.
No, he's 100% sexist.
He was born like when society was first being created. Of course, he's sexist.
He made society.
He did.
But anyways, all that aside,
He is the patriarchy.
He is by definition the patriarchy.
Yeah, he is because the patriarchy doesn't exist and neither does the emperor. Oh,
Well, you better believe there's a wage gap.
Oh my god.
The emperor
Derailed.
made sure of that.
okay.
He made sure of that.
And my second point
Did he even make the first
is
one?
this. Yeah, I said
No, I
because the empire is gender segregated already for the most part, and well, in certain specialized role, I got to clarify that because a lot of people are like, oh, well, the Imperial Navy has female captains and the Imperial Guard doesn't gender segregate. I don't care because I'm.
Where's your point,
Why are you mumbling? No one like you. We can hear you, but
I can't.
Okay. Anyways, the other point is. I forgot it.
Well, I think that's where we end the episode.
welcome to Lorehammer.
No, wait. Oh, yeah.
He's gonna remember in like a half hour.
No, I
and
remember
text
this
us.
now. I just remembered just now. Okay.
Okay, that's why we're ending the episode.
No. And in terms of modern gender politics, why are people like? Why don't people want male sisters of silence?
Who said they don't want it?
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Well, that's 3-1, Eric.
I don't care.
If
down.
my
Have it.
if my sisters of silence are gonna be in swimwear, I want them to be in bikinis, not
Speedos.
Banana
and
hammocks.
Speedos. Yeah, I'm not about that, Eric. My
I'm-
custodies, sure, but not my sisters of silence.
He's got respect for them.
Yeah.
All right. That's all. That's
That
all.
was, that was it.
I think we came to consensus so that we would be.
Yeah, better. Obviously, I'd be better with it than female space marines for sure.
Yeah.
Like, they can rewrite the lore however they want.
Yeah. It would
It's all
be-
made up anyways. I don't care. I don't care.
You don't care about female space marines either.
Oh, you care a little bit though.
Oh, yeah. I get those texts
Okay,
at
I lied.
3
You
in the
saw right
morning.
through me. I care a lot about everything. I feel too much. That's my problem.
Okay.
But in all the weird places.
I think we're good.
I think that's good too.
Okay. Enjoy.
Thanks for listening to our episode, guys.
Muzak signing out.
Yeah, check out I guess we got another one coming up. We've already said multiple times. Next episode will be Sisters of Silence.
Yeah.
So look forward to that one.
You're not doing that episode now.
Come sign up for a tournament.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's a bunch of people out there who are like, oh yeah, I'm just waiting for my next payday. Come on.
Yeah,
Come
we're-
on.
and
It's
we're-
been a couple paydays now. Give us.
We are about to open it up to like the Calgary area.
Yeah.
Because we've specifically haven't publicly made it available to anyone other than Lorehammer yet. So and there's like a lot of people in Calgary that do it.
As soon as we
you'll
open
lose
it
your
up,
spot
we will
immediately.
fill up instantly. So
Yeah. So if you want to play, you better get in.
yeah. Check out Redbubble if you want to buy some Lorehammer merch. Check out Patreon.
Check out our Patreon so we can buy a camera so you can
Yeah.
watch me touch people.
Yeah.
Send Christian some
Oh.
money specifically for Christian.
For what?
Just for stuff. You guys are all getting.
We're not getting stuff.
Nobody's getting
No,
money.
But
here,
for me,
Christian.
if you guys are asking for money, I want to ask for money too.
Oh,
I'll give them my bank
check out
information.
Christian's Patreon.
Yeah,
page.
check out
his GoFundMe.
Christian-
Support a
Yeah,
bomb.
if you want to
Christian's bank
support my
account.
school, I'm going to school right now. You can go check out my GoFundMe, pay for my tuition. That
Yep.
would be great.
Like,
if
now's
you
a good
get
time to ask
above
for money.
If you get above a 3.8 GPA, we will support you.
you do realize I'm taking 4 really easy classes this semester, right?
No, it's combined. You have to end with a
with
over
a 4 with a 3.8.
over like your entire.
At that point, your scholarship should get you in.
Yeah, I'll be okay. If I'm doing
All
that,
right.
all right then.
Well, thank you for listening, guys. We'll see you next time.
Take her easy.